Right, hit the start streaming button.
I literally chopped off 8 minutes from this video. It's like that's
Yeah.
how much like pointless, stupid shit there was in there.
Yeah, that's what I told Jace. It's like I could imagine, like, yeah, you cut out like 8 minutes out of it, but I'm sure that he just cut out like stuff that wasn't relevant to
Yeah, it's like
Well,
totally
stupid jokey bullshit, bro.
Yeah, it was like opening. It's like, hey, yeah, we relate to them because we're also hitmen, and then some
Yeah,
shit
yeah,
about
yeah.
like talking about like how, oh yeah, that one short succubus chick, she got me going, man. I was like, okay, I cut that out. Other shit like that.
Yeah, all right.
But I gave Stalin the timestamps that were removed, so people are like, oh, you're taking them out of context.
That's fine. I don't think we'll get that much, out of this, but it should be just fun.
Yeah,
I think it's like the beginning of something beautiful.
It also depends on what. Oh, go ahead.
All right. Yep. Just had to set that up. All right. So today, I guess we're starting this new thing where we just like look at other people's videos. We used to do this on another channel, but I guess we're just moving this over to here now. And I
guess
it
going to be a consistent thing, Stalin?
I'm not sure about consistency. Not quite consistency, but definitely.
What's up, Leo?
A fun thing to do here and there. I don't imagine us doing this constantly.
We should, though.
Yeah.
Well, because you guys suck at setting things up and giving a heads up, I don't think it will be.
All right.
It's all right, Chase. You're always welcome on my channel for whatever I do.
Well, we're gonna be watching the fucking the furry show, so.
God, I have people wanting to. I have Monsters and Couch wanting to join us for that, so we will be suffering in quartet.
Well, let's not get off topic. So, Stalin, give us the rundown of what this is exactly.
So apparently, these two professional writers. All right. We have the two people that Jace pulled the clip out for his episode 2 review, where they're talking about like how episode 2 blew their wildest expectations. Okay, yep. Stolas has a family, so amazing character. He has a family and a beating heart. Okay.
Well, that's the thing. I watched that video. I didn't even watch the whole thing because I had no time. I had to edit the shit real quick. I saw that part, and to me, because I didn't watch any of their other content, I'm assuming they didn't particularly like Helluva Boss before or Hazbin Hotel, right? Because they do remark that like he was just a reoccurring sex pest, blah blah blah. But I'm like, but then they changed their mind. That's even worse. It's like it'd be fine if it was just right off the bat they were like, oh, he's a great character, but it's kind of even worse because they're like, just introduced this stupid story element that came out of nowhere. It's like, oh my god, amazing character. Yeah, right off the bat. It's like, what?
Great writing. Yeah, no, their thoughts, I don't know what they thought about Hazbin, but I know that they weren't fans of the pilot for Helluva Boss.
Yeah, but episode 2
like
blew those expectations, okay?
You Ryan Johnson the fuck out of our expectations.
Yeah,
absolutely.
The character that couldn't explain like why they're doing what they're
doing. I don't know why I cheated on your mom. I don't know how I feel about Blitz. I don't know how I feel about myself. I don't even know why.
Too quickly, because I heard this defense of that is that like, well, you can't always explain why you do what you do, which is fair. That is true, but considering the fact that throughout the episode there was nothing done to get us invested into the father-daughter relationship whatsoever, because it was literally the entire episode was just him acting like a retard and his daughter going like, you're acting like a retard. That's it,
Yeah.
So we needed something, and then like they literally had no time in the episode, so an explanation was like literally the last thing they could have done to get us invested into this relationship, but even they couldn't even do that. So
yeah, it's like the setup wasn't that bad, and then like everything starts to fall apart when the time skip happens, because we're just bombarded with like a series of unanswered questions about what's happening. It's like, how recently did Blitz sleep with Stolas? Because it seems like it happened really, really like recently, because the wife is pissed, why does the daughter hate the dad so much? Like, how did she become this emo person? You can't tell me that that she took the emo streak just because of what her dad did.
Disgusting.
Disgusting. But anyway, so after that, we didn't really bother looking into their channel whatsoever because I got better things to do. You have?
Actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Believe it or not, I've actually looked at Diregentleman's work previously before he did the writing tips challenge against Lily Orchard, before he did the Has-Been Hotel and Helluva stuff. I actually like some of his content. And some of his skit-worthy related things, he's kind of like a not far left, but regular left-leaning Mumkey Jones. So he can be very entertaining. I like some of his other videos about genocide in children's cartoons. How he responded to the Star versus the Forces of Evil finale was kind of goofy, but I generally like some of his content. So I can't really say that I'm here to just do nothing but clown on, but I am curious about why he seems to have a positive take on this series, considering its severe inconsistencies and him being a writer.
Well, not even just that. He misconstrued points that were made in the episodes.
Well, I'm going to leave that to you guys for the obvious reason of I don't watch Habbo Hotel and a Heck of a Boss.
So what are you doing here then?
Because I want to see how this goes.
Okay.
I know enough about this property because I watch you guys' stuff.
Okay. Well, that's clear.
Yeah, Helluva Boss episode 4 review coming out soon. Right? It's basically done, but I'm gonna add a couple more things to it probably.
And then again, you're gonna take away people's jokes.
Then take away.
Well, no, it's his own review, so he's gonna have to censor himself.
Yes, exactly. I have to censor myself with any jokes.
Self-censorship, like the terrible leftist you are.
Yeah, I know, man. The radical left. All right. Let's go ahead and start the video now, I guess. By the way, this is I'll say it again. This is edited down because Hate cut out some bullshit that's completely irrelevant to I guess
8 minutes.
Critique. 8 minutes. So if you want to watch the original, you can go watch the original. But just that disclaimer. So let's start.
Dokity dokity.
Show.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry. We're saying we're professional writers on this channel. Anyway, yeah. Sorry. If anyone needs anyone written, by the way, just contact us in the comments.
Yeah. Get your papers in order. Anyway, Helluva Boss, great show about hitmen demons who kill anybody, and the 4th episode, they're actually opposed by a team from Heaven, which is the first time we're seeing Heaven in any of the Spindlehorse stuff.
Yeah, which is kind of a big deal.
That's not true. That's not
well,
true.
hold on before you jump in. I wanted to say I have not seen episode 4 because I'm not a masochist. So whenever they talk about anything relating to that, I'm out of the loop. So you're gonna have to do some heavy lifting there yourselves. But
it's an aneurysm, Jace.
Well, I heard. That's what I heard.
Also, as the local Bible thumper here, I hate the angel designs. It's not what a cherub looks like. I hate it so much. Why? It looks like
that's what it looks like in Animaniacs.
It looks like something Buttons drew.
Well, no wonder she's a fan I'm sorry. No wonder he's a fan of the show, so makes sense.
He understands me. Anyways, no, this wasn't the first time we've gotten an impression of Heaven, because the fucking pilot for Has-Been Hotel already establishes the fact that Heaven came down and exterminated a shit ton of people after the end of the opening of the episode. So we technically do have an impression of Heaven, which is that they have a vested interest in calling the population of hell.
Well, not only that, they also showed us the designs of the so-called quote-unquote angels who looked a lot like the fucking demons of hell themselves, if you remember in the Has-Been Hotel pilot. So from what I've seen from episode 4, from like a lot of the thumbnails I see of people talking about the episode and shit, it really inconsistent with what the angel designs were presented in the pilot for Has-Been Hotel, which not surprising whatsoever.
Oh, you mean these characters versus the ones we see in like the trailer of the show for Has-Been?
In the pilot as well. In the pilot, I believe you can see the angels as well that come down and purge.
So I have to comment here. They talk about simping for villains. We're talking about professional writing here. They're not villains. Every character in this doggone show, in one way or another, is some sort of villain. They're literal demons. The word is antagonist.
Yeah, no, they flip back and forth between that word in this video.
Well, actually, go ahead, Stalin. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I told Hate this earlier while I was at work. Okay, the cherubs are not villains. They're not. No. They're not fucking villains. They're just antagonists.
If anything, they're heroes technically.
I could say the same thing for Verasica and Fizzaroli. At worst, they're antagonists.
Well,
I wouldn't say as much for the murder family.
Oh, this was a good point actually, because I forgot. I wanted to ask this before we started, but I guess since we're now talking about the topic of this video, give me an example of your favorite villains. Like, what do you consider a well-written villain? Just so we can so people know what our standards are.
Let's go around the table. You go ahead and start, Jace.
Well, I mean, I can easily tell you Aku from Samurai Jack is one of my favorite ones. This is the one off the top of my head. I can't say it's like my most favorite one, but considering, we're going with the format of cartoons and shit, I guess, that's the one I'm gonna.
I personally know you like Barracuda as well.
Well, that's you would not be able to. Well, yeah, okay. But carrying on. Anybody else?
Darth Vader.
Okay.
Stalin.
I wouldn't. I don't know. Would you consider like Caesar to be a villain in New Vegas, Hate?
I mean, there's the thing about New Vegas is that like the character is written to where people can easily vilify him, but at the same time, his philosophical and his motivations and goals within the story of the game kind of give him a sense of nuance in what he's trying to accomplish. So worst, I'd just say like he's not even an antagonist in the sense of like the dynamic of the character, because he has no interest in your characters.
You're taking
in terms of the rest of the Mojave. In terms of the rest of the Mojave, I definitely say that they see him as a villain.
I mean, like, here's the thing: it's one of those kinds of things where, like, a lot of stuff is like up to interpretation, and that's one thing I love about.
Okay, so do you interpret him as a villain?
Oh yeah, I think he's a very well-written villain. Like, you can walk up to him and he can like in depth explain, like, yeah, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing, and he can do it in such a way to where he can come off like as perfectly reasonable. It's like, yeah, no, that sounds reasonable, even though there's a lot of
I got you.
Not just that, but if you're pro NCR and you fucked up a lot of his plans, he's like, you did this, and this, and it's like, now you've come before me, the mighty Kaiser, and you think that I want to talk to you? No, I'm gonna have you fucking killed. And then he's like, nah, man, I'm just fucking with you. He's like, he literally does not give a shit that you were fucking with his plans.
All right.
Go ahead, Leo. What's yours?
Okay, so again, going back to the fact that villain is a very specific word, and it ultimately is defined as a character whose evil actions or motives, and again, the focus is evil, are important to the plot. Now, Grimm's criticism so far is that Vader and some other characters, I suppose, shouldn't be counted because you have to pick something from a similar property. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and conform to what Grimm wants here. And if I were to choose a good villain, again, evil, motivation, or actions.
Skeletor.
No, because season 1 Skeletor's not all that silly, but he is fun. I'm actually going to be a little bit more niche here. I'm going to go with Mr. Gutierrez from Freakazoid, because his intentions, his motives, and his actions are evil, but he's funny, right? So that's what we're going for here.
That's fine. Yeah.
So they have to, their motives and their actions have to be evil. Wrong, bad, motivated by a foul desire to do a negative thing. So that's why I say, I guess the cherubs in this, I'm guessing they're supposedly some form of good guy. Some of the other characters they're going to list here. Being selfish isn't exactly the same thing as being evil. Being a prick's not the same thing as being evil. So it's kind of silly. They really should have used the word antagonist. So, but I'm not the professional writer here.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
The professional writer.
Again, to clarify, why I asked this is to give people a standard what we view as a well-written villain. Whether it perfectly contrasts with the villains of Helluva Boss is completely, or antagonists, whatever, is completely irrelevant. The point is that so you have an idea of what we perceive as like quality written villains or antagonists that serve as obstacles for the main heroes. So that's it.
Vader can be funny.
And Robot Chicken.
No, he's definitely funny.
All right, let's keep going.
Given in the wider kind of has-been Helluva Spindle Horse universe, there's been so much speculation as to the nature of heaven, but of course what we actually know for a fact has been pretty sparse up until this point. And to be honest, episode 4 doesn't really illuminate that much more beyond this particular group of cherubs.
Real quick question.
Hold on, I got bamboozled. Go ahead, Leo.
I have a question. Who's seen this episode so far?
I
in
have.
The chat?
Me and Hayden.
Oh, okay.
Okay, the purple cherub, is that a boy or a girl?
It's a boy.
They're all boys.
Oh, it's a goat.
Or my bad. Or my bad. 2 of them are boys. 1 of them is a chick.
Okay, so that's a goat, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
There's one that's a deer.
Well, I think the goat's funny because, like, in terms of allegory of separating people who are obedient to God versus those who are not, the Bible talks about separating the sheep from the goat, and the goat will be cast into the eternal flame. Here we have an angel goat, so fantastic, brilliant thesis there, Vizzy. Fantastic. Continuing.
Someone said it's a sheep. Yeah, I guess it's a sheep. I don't see the horns.
Yeah,
so.
it's
male goats. Male goats are sheep. Or they are goats. They're
well, maybe
sheep
it is a
goats.
sheep.
All right, I'm not getting stuck on this debate.
Yeah, it's like
I think the team would be saving any of the big reveals about heaven's nature and all that for Has-Been Hotel, which is the one that's picked up by 824. It's going to be the more plot-oriented one. This is an episodic show. So I think because...
It's not!
I mean, I kind of doubt that because the motivating factor of the series is based on an event that happens once a year, which means, like, we'll probably only learn, like, first-person accounts of anyone that's come across the Death Angels and survived. That's about it. Like, I mean, it's possible.
Also,
I kind of doubt that.
I just noticed something, and because I don't keep too heavy track of this because it's not my cup of tea. If another company is involved with creating Has-Been going forward, and I'm guessing they're probably going to do their own changes, their own mixes. They're going to have another set of writers.
What I've been told, or what I've heard at least, is that Vivzy and her crew, I'm assuming, they get
I'm sure they'll be there.
They get some kind of rights that like allows them to have control over
creative control.
Maybe, I don't know. I don't remember what exactly it was called. But
I'm going to go ahead and say this. I'm going to go ahead and guess. There's going to be some severe iconic way or another because somebody's going to goop really hard.
That's what I said to the person who said that to me. I'm going like, well, sometimes those types of deals are made with those types of agreements just so that the studio can still get away with doing whatever the fuck kind of shit they want to the property that they just gained, you know, and usually it's just empty words. It depends on how hardcore Wivsy is willing to fight for it, I guess. We'll see. We'll see on the quality of the show, whether it gets better or worse.
Yeah, gotta answer a riddle. Is it canon that Helluva Boss and Has-Been Hotel are the same universe? That's a pretty big leap without any explanation in the video. Yeah, they're both in the same universe. Helluva Boss is a spin-off.
Right.
In the same universe, so yes.
At the very least, that's what Vivzy's pointed at, from what I understand. And the thing is that the problem is, like, now you're sitting there and questioning, because one of the questions I have is the pilots even fucking canon now to Helluva Boss? Like, are those canon? Because some of the things that happen in the pilot of Helluva Boss directly conflict with the things that we've so far learned in later episodes. And I'm like, so are they just going like the pilot's not canon, or is it canon? I don't fucking know.
Yeah,
so
it's like one of the big things that I brought up about, like, you know, the members of IMP facing consequences at the possibility of them being exposed is it's completely thrown out the window that they should have gotten in trouble by the simple fact that they were caught on live TV dumping a body.
Okay, carry on.
Can't justify that.
Did you hit play?
You know, the format has been IMP team just doing their jobs. Having characters that are actually the polar opposites really helps with reinforcing what we already know about the format of the show.
And I think a question that was on both of our minds in realizing just how hilariously ruthless and cruel the IMP team could be is, what does it really mean to be a villain in a show where your protagonists are, like, demonic entities?
Oh, that's real simple. You just make the antagonists of the episodes worse than the characters.
Even more unlikable, correct?
Yeah.
Or you can go the other way, and you could just so let's say you're writing this unlikable character, right? It's your main character, obviously, and you make him so fucking unlikable, but likable, but lovable. You know what I mean? There's a lot of characters. There's a lot of asshole characters that people love to follow. For example, off the top of my head, because this falls into the same sort of thing that I'm assuming Vivzi was inspired by, Johnny the Homicidal Maniac. Nothing is redeemable about the character. The character is a psychopathic, murdering piece of shit. But the way he does it and the stupid fucking philosophical things that he throws up makes you kind of like him, right? So what? How do you make him likable when he's opposed by someone? Well, you make the other person a rapist or whatever, and you're going like, oh, that guy's fucking a piece of shit, you know, kill him.
Yeah.
So,
you know, I can give an example.
It's very ironic. No, I can give a very relevant and easy answer. Is that the big difference between a character like Verosika and the other antagonists in the series is that the writers actually gave her a somewhat sympathetic motivation for her to hate Blitz and want to fuck with him, and that's because he fucked with like he basically screwed her over when they were dating, and that's what made them break up. And then immediately 2 minutes after that, she and the rest of her goons try to rape Moxie, and that's what they pretty much do to make him unlikable.
There's an easier way to do this, and I'm going to go ahead and fall back on being the old man in the room. Back in the 80s, when they were about ready to start promoting the She-Ra cartoon, and they wanted to get out the villains, the evil Horde, led by Hordak, what they would do is they'd give it this really dark tone to the toy commercials, and it made it very clear that Skeletor didn't like them either. They weren't friends, and Skeletor was afraid of them. Why? Because they're that evil, they're that meaner, they're that much badder than Skeletor. So you can do it by doing exactly what you said. You just... The problem with this is that they shot themselves in the foot already because they're all in hell.
Right, but there's another way is that like Weebus said in the chat, it's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. The cast of that show, or whatever the fuck it was called, I don't remember what it was, but the cast of that show, they're all pieces of shit, right? But because they're so fucking funny, you like watching their antics, and even when they're interacting with people who are like good, right? Like better than them as humans. And when they fuck those people over, you don't feel bad for those people because you're like, it's pretty funny. There's multiple ways to do this, yes.
Yeah,
so,
I mean,
it's not rocket science. It's been done before so many fucking times, but I guess it's the pinnacle of writing. Apparently.
I mean, another example to go off of that's a lot more mainstream is going back to my example, Darth Vader. Is that, you know, you set him up as this ruthless person. Like when we first see him, he's going through the hallway of the ship that they just captured, and then the next scene we see him, he's like strangling the captain of the ship, like interrogating him because they're trying to find the plans of the Death Star. And then we skip all the way to Empire, and Vader's completely motivated to ruthlessly hunt down Luke Skywalker because he destroyed the Death Star. And then when they're in the asteroid fields, the admiral tells him that the Emperor wants to talk to him, and like this is right after we see him like strangling two of his officers for failing him, basically. And like for the first time, we see someone as ruthless and terrifying as Darth Vader kneel to another person. And then when we get to Return of the Jedi, it is made that much more apparent that Vader is subservient to the Emperor. He's basically a lapdog or a lamb that's being set up for slaughter. Right. So he'll be replaced by his son, Luke Skywalker.
The point is, there's many ways to do this, and so it's not that hard. So
I gotta do a thing in the chat real quick. Yo, Trigger, yeah, man, all of 40K is evil, but there are worse sides than others, correct?
I got Slaaneshians.
Yeah, we don't talk about Slaaneshis and the Emperor's Children. We don't talk about those.
The big bonk stick.
Yeah, big bonk stick. Let's not talk about that.
All right, so we're a minute 30 in a 20-minute video. We should
it's
probably keep
going. A long stream, so
Jesus
that
Christ.
kill for cash. They have bad qualities too.
In contrast, they've been faced with a slew of antagonists who also in their own way are bad and highlight the flaws of the protagonists, but also why we root for them regardless.
What we're going to do is go backwards through each episode and discuss the weird and wonderful Helluva Boss Rogues Gallery, because Cherub has just reminded us how fun the villains in this show are.
We've had some really memorable ones. I mean, the most recently was Verosika and her team of succubi.
Yeah, so Verosika in Spring Broken. She's a really interesting character because...
Actually, you know what? Let's stop here. What do you guys think? Apart from Leo, because I guess he didn't watch it. What do you guys think of Verosika as a villain?
I think that she was probably the strongest antagonist in the series so far.
Right. Okay. But does that make her good as a character? Like,
it's a very, very low bar, Jace.
Like all I could say is like, yeah, like I guess like she's the quote strongest antagonist that we've seen so far. We're only like 4 episodes in a pilot, but like that's not really saying much. Like the character herself is not very like these guys are saying it's so interesting. Like, what's so interesting about it? There's
right.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I mean. To me, like this character stereotype for her was just the dumb cheerleader bitch at a high school. Like fucking, it's your High School Musical type of villain that we got here, and I'm like, interesting? How? She's bland as shit.
It's more like she's a shallow caricature of pop stars and celebrities. It's like you.
But there's like so many ways to do that much better and more. Exactly. It's like, and then they were just like, "What do we make this character? I just make her a bitch, slut, alcoholic." Amazing writing, bro. Ooh. Here's my money.
I mean, I gotta really say it's a back-patting moment, Jace, when it's like, let's give her a sympathetic backstory or somewhat sympathetic backstory, and then 2 minutes later have her rape one of the main characters.
Well, she doesn't even have a sympathetic backstory.
I said somewhat. It's not that sympathetic. It's just simply she got fucked over because of him, and then I explained why that doesn't matter because the dude's a fucking retard. It's it's like you're getting.
Oh my god! I just saw Kai's comment in the chat.
Who's
Kai? OMG, Ember's Ghost Squad.
Yes.
Yeah.
That would be a much better show.
It would.
Ember's Ghost
Squad. Anyways, let's carry on.
Because, like a few of the antagonists in this show, she has a personal history with Blitz.
That's not true.
Fizzaroli
had a backstory with Blitz.
But like, is that all you need to make a good fucking antagonist? Is that all you need?
Okay, we don't even. What does she do that's actually antagonistic other than a parking space? I want to know exactly.
I just told you her and her friends tried to rape Moxie.
No, that's not okay. That's not even. It just happens, and Blitz.
Hold on a second. I would say in response, Blitz doesn't like Blitz. Like oftentimes doesn't.
Oh no, I know he doesn't give a shit. That's why I said in my video that it's like, why was this used in an episode focused on Blitz, Luna, and their relationship with fucking Verosika when this should have been used in a Moxie and Millie episode?
I think Leo, what's Leo asking you is that. What has she done so antagonistic that has like directly affected Blitz, I guess? And like you said, the only thing is the parking spot issue, right? That's pretty much it. So what was your next point, Leo? No, that's all it was.
I mean, there's one other thing. I'd say it's more of like a matter of proxy is that like she has Vortex in her employment, and to a certain extent, Luna's fondness towards him because of this relationship that Vortex has with Verosika.
But that's more or less Blitzo having a conflict with Vortex rather than him having a conflict with.
It's not antagonistic on Verosika's part.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll give an example that Jace will appreciate. All right, so in an episode of Samurai Jack, he stopped by at it's supposed to be a bar, but children's show. And he meets some smooth talking, jive talking dude who goes by the name of
Samurai.
What did he do? He was an antagonist. So what did he do? Well, he mocked Jack, and then he ultimately challenged him to a fight. He literally picked a fight with him. What did this person do? made fun of them, and took their parking spot.
Yeah, literally, that's all it is. And here's the thing: standardly speaking, it can be something petty. Like it can be something petty, right? Because we're watching after like a complete. The protagonists are complete assholes, so you have to kind of measure down the level of antagonism to a petty level because the main characters are petty. So hence why they're in hell, I guess. So okay, that's fine. But the thing is that they say like because she shares a past with Blitz or whatever, that's what makes her interesting, I guess. The problem with that is that we don't even know the full extent of that past because the episode has done absolutely fucking nothing to show us how close these characters were. All we know is that they were dating. For all I know, it could have been a fucking friends with benefits type of relationship. That's it.
Right.
Like it lacks the impact that I guess they think it fucking puts on this character. So
I like her a lot more because she hates Blitz, Jace, and that fact alone is what maybe like
I don't like anybody in this show.
I know. It's just out of a simple mutual hatred.
Again, is a lot of fun because Blitz is a character who so much of his kind of central drive is this desire for kind of esteem and success and attention and respect.
He's intensely competitive, intensely territorial, to the point that, like, anyone who even slightly ruins his day, he will pick a fight with, and it causes a lot of collateral damage.
That's called egoism. Dude's an egomaniac. He's a narcissist. It's not a good quality.
Well, at the same time, like, are you gonna point out like, he can't take other people, shit from other people. Yeah, that's right for pointless deviations. Am I right, Jace?
There's another thing is that like there's ways to write characters like that in a likable light. The way that Blitzo is written, to me at least, everybody's gonna start yelling at me. But I think to a lot of people as well, the way he is written is not likable because he is a hypocritical piece of shit. But the thing is he's like a Mary Sue. Nobody can get an up on him. Like they just said, anything can piss him off, and then he'll get back at them by having this like fight with them or whatever, which he will win. Right? That's what happens with them. Whereas, and then I watch him torture other characters like his subordinates, the Humpty and Dumpty. I forgot their names. He tortures them, and I'm going like, what the fuck are you torturing them for? They're just a fucking couple who's minding their own business. Leave them alone, you fucking weirdo. And it's not likable to me, at least. I just find him annoying, and I just want him to hang himself, essentially.
Yeah. He's basically stalking them.
I mean, you want most of the characters to hang themselves, Jason.
It's true, especially the furry, but that's beside the point.
Yeah.
Carrying on.
And literally the pilot, he wants to show that he, and I guess by extension imps in general, can do anything that like other demons can.
Where did they say that?
Yeah, where did they say that? Where's the implication?
Never said that.
What the fuck?
More importantly, they physically can't.
Well,
I mean,
because they don't have uber superpowers like most of them do.
Here's the thing, it's like the thing that goes antithetical to that narrative is that Blitz literally stole a magical artifact from someone who's far more successful and powerful than him.
But it was lent to him. He didn't steal it.
No, he stole it.
But it was lent to him.
Well,
it wasn't. He literally slept with Stolas and then stole it from him.
Wait, hey, I get it. But the scriptural inconsistency in the script is that, I just lent it to you. You didn't steal it.
Yeah, but like Stolas at this point is like, I'll let you keep it if.
I totally meant for you to steal it, bro. Yeah, I totally meant like that. It's literally I'm pretending to be retarded. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, you were gonna say. So he stole the artifact, yeah.
Yeah, he stole the artifact, which was basically like something he didn't make. It wasn't something he worked on. It's just he's using borrowed power. It's literally proving that he can't do things. That imps in general can't do things.
Well, maybe their point is that he maybe he can, but he's delusional enough to think that he can, right? But at the same time, it is not even hinted at anywhere that he wants to be better than all the demons. Better at what exactly? I'm sure a lot of the demons in hell of this show don't even give a fuck about going to the real world and fucking around with people. Some of them are just probably there just chilling. or whatever, right?
Or
So
just
it's
be
like,
miserable
and,
all the time.
and
right.
more importantly, prove themselves on what are they doing that so they kill a bunch of people. Apparently, a lot of demons can do that. So if their concern is I need to prove myself, and it's goofy. Clearly, to me, it seems like the motivation is stroking one's ego and making money.
Yeah,
the
Right.
laziest way
that's it.
possible. A demon
Literally. Yeah, that's more like you don't even watch the show and you were able to nail down his personality and goals that we are aware of right now, right?
Mhm.
More than these professional writers, I guess. I
They
don't
Or
know.
they're just making up bullshit.
I don't know
You know
whether
what?
they watch too much Dragon Ball Z. You know, I got to prove I'm the best. But
Well, it
More like
depends.
Pokemon.
If they're doing what other Has-Been Hotel and Helluva Boss fans do, and they're looking at all the ancillary material, they're watching all the live streams for drops of lore. Maybe that was stated. I don't know. I can't say. But I will say this: usually, when you construct a story, writing wise, while you don't have to adhere to the rule of why is it taking place in X, sometimes the rule of cool, supersedes all that. But there's nothing you would lose from Helluva Boss or Has-Been Hotel not having it take place in hell. In fact, it would clear up a lot of the
yeah.
continuity problems they'd have. So
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
just seems to me like a desire to just use reds and blacks and whites and being edgy and being dumb and instead of just getting a decent story out. But then again, I'm not a professional.
Mm-hmm. Let's carry on.
He's obviously a very dysfunctional dude. He's unhappy. He gets into these destructive relationships.
What about this was a point that confused me. What about his relationships are destructive?
Which are he has relationships?
Well, he has a relationship with Stolas. He has a quote unquote relationship with Moxie and Millie, and then he has a relationship with Luna, his adopted daughter.
Yeah,
That's
but
about it.
my better point is that we absolutely know absolutely fucking nothing about those relationships. We're four episodes in, and we know absolutely fucking nothing other than the base level shit that you could easily state in a line, in a throwaway line. Oh, half of that shit was even stated in the pilot episode in throwaway lines.
Well, it's like in the case of Stolas, I could make an argument, but it's like it's not destructive for Blitz because Stolas is the one who got into this relationship and complicated his marriage and his relationship with his
Right.
daughter.
Well, what's so destructive about his
That's
relationships
yeah.
too? Exactly. It's like
And then you have
his subordinates are still sticking around. His fucking secretary is still sticking around. The gay overlord over there is sticking around with him. It's like the only one who was impacted negatively, like you said, is the gay overlord because his relationship with the daughter soured.
yeah.
There's nothing destructive about his relationship so far. The only one you could argue is the fucking pop star, and even then he doesn't seem to give much of a shit about that anyway. So
Well, yeah, and then on top of that, you have the fact that it's like the worst thing that he's done to not Millie Moxie is he's insulted him. I don't even think he's ever said anything bad or done
no,
anything bad
but the
with
thing is,
Millie.
the point is, they said destructive relationship. It didn't
Yeah, I
destruct
know.
Blitzel's relationship with Moxie. So whatever, who gives a shit? Carrying on.
A real tension between himself and Luna, his adopted daughter, and between his employees, but there's this kind of sense that he feels if only they could be successful and they could have the respect, that kind of his personal problems would disappear along with that.
It's
Respect of who?
like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Let's get down to like the super rudimentary things. What Blitz is offering is a service. There is no respect or thanks owed. I mean, let's just ignore the simple fact that they're murdering people for
Right.
for the sense that they want revenge in the typical case. That's why they do it. It's like I don't know how this sort of narrative works when it's basically The Office except in hell. And in this case,
Right.
instead of selling paper, they're fucking murdering people. It's like how is the goal of reaching fame and respect, especially in a world where like most people
Everybody murders people.
don't
Yeah.
well I don't they're very violent, very unstable. I mean, I can make an argument in saying that like Has-Been Hotel definitely establishes that people's reputation is something that they value significantly, or at least in the lenses of the characters that we've been allowed to explore, the majority of them care about reputation. That's about it. It's like, yeah, titles breed power and influence, I guess.
I mean, here's the thing, like
That's about
Go
it.
ahead.
it's
Go
been
ahead. Go ahead,
established
Spencer.
like that the only character that Blitz gives a fuck about is
Is
Luna.
Luna.
That's it. That's
Right.
it.
Well,
Yeah.
well, the thing, and that's the thing is that like they say he wants to prove himself, and I'm just like, to who? To who? Like, who does he want to establish respect with? Who? I don't even know who's in position of power in this fictional hell over there. Like, what's the power ladder? You know, who's above the fucking avian fag? I don't know.
Yeah.
Nothing. Like, I will
Well-
always come back to this criticism. I know absolutely fucking nothing about this world, and we're 4 episodes into this show, and I know nothing.
Well, it's like I
Well,
love the irony or just like the timing of this sort of clip that's played, Jason. I was telling you a few nights ago before I gave Stalin the video on the episode 3 review that I did, and I told you that like the big plot hole in that episode is that like Blitz tells Luna we have a parking space on the line when it was never established that that was actually the stakes for why they were doing the contest to begin with. It was more along the lines of if we win, we basically prove to them that we're better than the succubus. Basically, it's more of just like we're gonna rub it in their faces, and I'm like, that's it. You forgot something. You forgot to mention something.
Courage the Cowardly Dog has deeper lore. Look how edgy and
Oh,
disturbing
it
it
does.
is.
I mean, he's not fucking wrong, dude. Like, I mean, yes, you look at Courage the Cowardly Dog, and that is what do you call it? An episodical show. It doesn't have necessarily a continuity to follow, and even in those singular episodes, I mean, one of my favorite episodes is the one where Eustace goes to see his mom, you know, and his mom turns out to be just as fucking fucked up as him, but she likes Courage, but she hates her son, and it's a really funny dynamic because it's like a triangle of hate. But in the end of the episode, you know, because there turns out that she's just as bald as Eustace is, they go like, "Oh my God, we're both like these types of people, and we understand each other," and they cry together. I'm going like, "Oh, this is a heartwarming episode. This is pretty cool. You know, there's a lesson to be learned here." And it's all crammed into just a few minutes. Something fucking Helluva boss can't do because it's, hey, his sister is in rehab. By the way, I dated him, but I don't anymore. By the way, this is my new bodyguard, and your secretary will have hots on him. Oh, by the way, we're succubus that also suck people's lives. Oh, by the way, we can travel to Earth. Oh, by the way, I'm a popular pop. It's just a fucking information overload.
Yeah,
and
there's no time to breathe in that episode. It's like it's like the worst part is like the argument between Luda and Blitz aren't happening like in a single like scene. It's like divided up between like a comic relief or whatever. It's like I thought this was supposed to be a serious moment. Like why are things like suddenly not slowing down? They're just like going as fast as things normally do.
The speed of
And
sound.
yeah.
let's carry on.
I just want to go ahead and comment
Oh,
real
go
quick.
ahead.
Could be watching better cartoons right now. We could be watching Samurai Jack or G.I. Joe. We could be watching freaking Wacky Races, but we're not. We're doing this.
My name's Dick.
I mean, if there's one positive I could say about this show, I'm glad that it's not fucking problem solvers. That show is fucking
Or
awful.
Super Mountain Board
That's an extremely low bar. Like we're talking.
I know.
we're
Okay,
talking
okay. What
Caesar's
about
odds.
okay? What about Johnny Test?
It's the same thing. Like,
Here. I would rather watch Johnny Test for 4 hours than one episode of this show.
Mm-hmm.
Damn,
Fucking
bro.
low.
That's pretty fucking low.
Let's carry
Alright,
on.
yeah, let's carry.
Relatable, especially to like anyone who's like pursuing some kind of craft or like, you know, wants to be rich and famous. Besides the like inherent tragedy of it.
Hold on, real quick. I pursue crafts. I pursue video editing. I pursue art. I pursue model making. I don't identify with this moron. He is everything I would never want to be. He is egocentric. He is self-serving. He's bad at what he does on a basic level. Like, okay, going up top without knowing you need a disguise, apparently, like that's like me wanting to draw and not knowing what a pencil is. He's bad at his job. He's bad at everything. I don't identify with this idiot. I want him to double die and go to super hell.
I was gonna say is that like another point they say is that like yeah, the pursuit of reputation and riches and blah. Like we don't know if that's his ultimate goal. Like we know he runs a business. We don't even know if they get paid for what they do. Do they get paid?
They do get.
Does
paid.
Hell have?
They do get paid.
They do
Okay,
get
well,
paid.
okay, but regardless of that, so they get paid. But I'm like, it's still not his goal. It doesn't necessarily just because you have a job doesn't mean you want to excel at that job.
They're piling more on this character than has ever been presented. Like, this is fan fiction level. Come on, guys, you got to be smarter than this. He's just a petty douchebag.
Mhm.
Yeah, you're correct.
He's got a beating heart.
And
Yeah.
a family.
Sense that like Blitz is a lot of fun to follow because he wants these things so badly. So even when he ekes out the tiniest, pettiest win, you still kind of like feel a little bit like happy that he.
I love the irony of that statement because in that scene, Blitz did not win. Like he did not earn that win. Like
Yeah,
anything,
because a convenient,
Moxie and Millie.
Go ahead.
Moxie, if anything, Moxie and Millie were the true heroes of that episode.
Yeah, but of course he's gonna take their win to himself because he's a petty cunt. That's his character. My better point is the reason they couldn't even win fairly because Vivzi's writing team is incapable of convincing the viewer that these guys can be competent to some level. So they were just like, fuck it, throw a mutant fish in there, Deus Ex Machina that shit, out of nowhere. Let's pull miracles out of our ass. Yeah, and that's pretty much it.
You know what was hilarious, Jace, is that like when I was editing the video after I'd written the script, I forgot to notice that like when the monster emerges, Veronica pulls up her sunglasses and she looks like fucking confused. So it's like not even she knows what's going on right now.
I'm gonna make this show 100% better with a few recommendations. Are you ready?
Yeah. Stop making it.
I said better. I didn't say non-existence. Rid of Blitzo. The main focus, Moxie and Millie, make it about a loving couple that is trying to make their way in this crazy world and nonsense, and construct all the villains to be some sort of counter to whatever personal values they hold about their love or about their relationship, and just make it about them trying to make it through. Yep. That's all you have to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, I agree with you because then you have like there's potential ideas swimming around over there in regards to them being a couple, right? So they could have arguments with one another, right? Like that's a whole fucking episode right there to explore their characters. It'd be so much easier to just get rid of the main retard of this group because he's just an unlikable retard. That's all he is. Another recommendation I want to make is fucking move it out of Hell. Literally, Hell has no fucking. It adds absolutely fucking nothing to the show.
You're right. In fact, we can build on top of that. Instead of let's say they want to keep Hell in there for whatever reason. Why not keep that as a central main point, but have them operate topside? And instead of Luna being Doofus's adopted daughter, make it Moxie and Millie's adopted daughter. That way you have actual conflict. And if you want to play off on the succubi angle, why not test their marriage in that way, test how well they're dealing with their daughter, dealing with all this type of stuff. You can build something better than what you have by taking out one character.
I mean, here's the thing. It's like, out of all the characters that have been trashed on by like one of you guys, you don't really trash on Moxie and Millie too much, do you? Because it's like they're not
the only competent characters in this stupid little cartoon.
Well, I mean, that's debatable. I would say
they're like great or anything, but like out of any of them, I like them the most, and they're also like their designs are the ones that I like the most as well.
I would definitely say that Millie is the most competent.
Okay, stop spurging out like little fans. Okay, you can go look up Rule 34s of these characters later.
I'm not spurging out over them. I'm literally just spewing fact right now.
I don't know if it's anybody that's looking that stuff up, Jace. It's you because you used that in your fucking review. Shut the fuck up.
No, you know who's actually looking those up right now? Ross Melton. He's looking those up right now.
He's probably hate jerking it right now. Fuck those guys! Fuck those guys!
Oh my god! All right.
Let's carry on.
He did it.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. It's one of our writing rules has always been Like, if a character wants something enough, you'll want it for them. What's really interesting about Veronica as a villain, and why she makes a great foil.
Oh, fuck, we're only like 2 minutes in. They just now started to. I forgot that they were talking about Veronica as the main point here. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Alright, sorry.
To Blitz, other than all the other, the, like, sex, death, Freudian shit, she is someone who is obviously much more successful than Blitz. She's got this big fancy car compared to like the shitty looking, like beat up imp van. She's clearly both a renowned pop star, because obviously you've got like Luna being like, oh, you knew Veronica Mayday? Millie being like, oh, what was having sex with her like, and stuff like that. But she's still someone who has these problems. Like, we literally, like, one of the first things said about her is the fact that she's broken out of rehab. Like, so she's someone who is running away from confronting her addiction.
Yeah, stop it, go ahead.
It's fucking bullshit. She literally said, or Blitz asked her, I thought your fat ass was still in rehab, and she says, they let me out because I'm still famous. It had nothing to do with that she broke out of rehab or that she's running away from her problems. She is full on embracing that she is infallible because she is a famous pop star.
Right,
what
exactly.
What the fuck are you dumbasses smoking?
Yeah, exactly. I thought, like, I was confused there because didn't she say they let her go because she's like this famous pop star? Exactly.
Famous.
So it's like, what are you talking about? She's not running away from her problems. She's embracing the kind of piece of shit that she is. Like, there's absolutely no sign in the episode where she would be regretting her actions or regretting who she is or whatever. You know, and you saying that, oh well, you know, she's an alcoholic. I'm like, this is hell. You know, they all have piece of shit like traits that send them there or whatever the fuck. You know, like they're all indulgent in there. If anything, apparently hell allows them to indulge in their sick shit that they were sent there to begin with for. By the way, which actually begs the question: why the fuck is it even hell? This technically should be heaven in that case. It's like, what the fuck?
More importantly, real quick, if you want to improve the humor on this, I have one recommendation you can make. You look towards Looney Tunes. And what I mean by that is, okay, what's so funny about Bugs Bunny interacting with Elmer Fudd? Because he gets to move around in witty ways, he gets to avoid them. It's kind of a funny power dynamic. If you want to improve the show's humor and you want to give them an actual functional foil, why don't you just get like some big, buff, overpowered angel constantly trying to smite them, and they have to find ways to avoid him or outmaneuver him and put comedic situations in there. It's not hard. I completely missed the Bond, but disappointed.
Like the chocolate guy from SpongeBob?
Yes.
Chocolate!
I can never do that voice accurately. That yell is amazing, though.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Is that guy a fucking Emmy?
Clearly, in a symbolic sense, shows the danger of this addiction, because the fact that Veronica always has that fucking hip flask full of demon hooch is what makes the
Veronica was literally fucking confused why there was a giant fish. Like,
yeah, she wasn't even aware of what she has done.
Yeah,
like up until one of the fucking Humpties pointed out to her that that's her bottle, bro. She was like, oh fuck, oh that's mine. Oh, oops.
Oh.
That's the only time she like regrets. She regrets it because she got caught. That's it. That's the only thing.
Wait till they give the big symbolic representation of what the fish is supposed to be.
Fucking wait, they talk about the symbolic oh.
Yes, they do.
Okay, lay it on me.
Okay.
Fish.
World liquor, it's pretty potent.
When that underworld liquor hits. It's really interesting because Veronica in so many places is like in a state that Blitz wants to be in, which of course is why Blitz is so enraged by her in addition to the ex.
Where?
No, he's enraged by her because she keeps taking his shit.
Right, exactly. He's enraged because she took his parking spot. He's enraged.
Fucked with his employees.
Fucked with his employees. He's enraged that she's literally next door working with him. You know, like, where's this power dynamic narrative coming from? Where? I don't understand.
I mean, it also comes from the same place, Jace, where I just asked, like back when I said that Vortex was like explaining, oh yeah, they live over here. or that they're hanging out over here, and now I'm gonna fuck off. And I'm like, dude, you just left your boss unguarded to a group of assassins whose boss fucking hates her, and just moments ago,
good job, bro.
Yeah,
well, it's not.
Somebody pointed out in the chat. It's like, what's this fucking projection that's going on here? Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Projection. Yo, maybe they are projecting. Maybe they're just mad that they'll never be as big as Dostoevsky or something like that.
Jesus.
I don't fucking know.
Stuff.
It's crazy because Veroska is someone who unironically wants for nothing, just thinks they're hot shit, and kind of is. And that's where Blitz wants to be. They want to be in this state where, like, everybody already respects them enough to kind of, like, kiss their boots.
Okay, let's one criticism commentary or a structure of video rather than writing. Well, I guess it falls into writing. I don't know if they're like recording this gung-ho or not. Do not reiterate the same fucking point 50 times. If you stated that point, move the fuck on, okay?
It's funny that you know Blitz is like an imp because people would have to kneel down real far to kiss his boots. And I think that that's part of the gag.
I mean, it's obvious the fact that, like, he is this diminutive character.
It's a Napoleon complex, guys. Genius writing.
Genius writing, dude. It's a Napoleon complex.
Blitz is fucking Vegeta. Congratulations.
Wait, the question is, who's Kakarot? Because Vegeta without Kakarot makes absolutely zero sense.
Like, yeah, he's big, as people have pointed out in the comments before, he's big among imps. But, like, generally, almost everyone else kind of towers over him.
Well, see, that's excellent, because I think that his relative height, compared to the other imps, actually, like, emphasizes this idea that, like, yeah, imps are all lower class, but Blitz is the one who's trying to rise above.
Okay, where is this information about imps being lower class even coming from?
There's literally one fucking line in the entire series, and that's that Stolas' family has imps as butlers. That's it. I'm assuming that they're making this parallel that they're supposed to be like Mexican maids or some shit like that.
But then there's also imps trying to assassinate Stolas. So it's
I know.
This is literally just like piling shit on the things that are just not there, and it's fucking funny. The professional writers. Reminder.
Imps, and he technically has in stature, but that doesn't mean he's gotten anywhere. And the difference in, like, literal, like, mass and size compared to the other demons just shows how far he needs to go. And also maybe...
You considered telling him to take some protein and start lifting?
Literally, you know what this reminds me of? It's just them masturbating over the fact that, look at this brilliant idea that we just came up with, bro. Like, let's milk it. Like, that's all it is right now. It's ridiculous.
So somebody, well, let me say something real quick. Somebody in the chat said Vivzipop said so in the stream that imps are lower class. You know that's the thing that I.
Okay, can you give me a timestamp? Go ahead.
Hold on.
Sorry.
Go ahead. The thing I was going to say was, I'm not sure if I made a point like this in the video that I'm going to be posting here in a few days, but. The kind of writing where you have to do research, like you have to do your homework in order to understand something that's happening or to better understand, like, you know, a fictional universe. Like, your writing is absolute dog shit, mate. Like, you can't have people do their fucking homework. It's like with, you know, the Star Wars sequel trilogy where, like, well, no, you just had to, like, read this book.
Read the novelization.
Read the novelization to understand, bro. No! Stop fucking doing that, dude. That's terrible fucking writing. Stop doing that.
Well, I mean...
I love that how Last Jedi has a funeral for Han, and there's no funeral
Fuck you.
in the movie.
Shut up with your fucking Star Wars. Like, ask any fucking comic book fan. Yeah, I'm gonna take this show over, motherfucker. Ask any comic book fan and ask them if Civil War was written perfectly. Every single one of them will tell you the first one. Okay. If Civil War was written perfectly, and every single one of them will tell you, no, absolutely fucking not. You know why? Because they spread out the story among various fucking comics and various titles. And because you had to go hunting down for those various fucking titles, it made it a fucking unenjoyable ride. And on top of that, some of those story additions in those titles were just irrelevant to the story. So like you were even found wasting your time sometimes doing that. So no, this is absolutely the worst way to do it. Some formats require this type of shit. Like let's say RPGs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some RPGs are limited in their graphics, especially early ones. So a lot of reading was required for you to get into the lore of the story, right? Same goes for, let's say, D&D. Like you need to do a lot of reading before you get into the game, or get into the lore of the world or whatever like that. But that's because those things are designed to be like that, right? This show is not designed like that. It's not supposed to be like that. This is not the Marvel universe, or whatever, or it's the cinematic universe. We
guess
got
I this too, like in one of your reviews, like he's like, do they think like they're doing a great job here by like trying to like put a bunch of different stuff in the universe together that people don't know a single fucking thing about?
Right.
It's like, get the biblical context, guys.
I want to go ahead and point out from an opposite spectrum here. All right, so there's a long-standing, ongoing, well, not ongoing because they do take breaks occasionally, anime series called Mobile Suit Gundam. Everybody in the call is familiar with it, I'm sure, to an extent, so everybody in the chat. When I was initially watching it, like going back and forth between different series, I watched Unicorn and a couple other things before I watched the original Mobile Suit Gundam. And when I did that, I had Gundam fans losing their goddamn mind. Yeah, don't do that. You're not going to know what's going on. Here's the thing. If it's well written, like the ones that I watched, like Unicorn was, I don't need all the deep back lore because I can get it via context clues in the show. From what I understand, that doesn't do this here. All it does is say, well, you need to watch the live stream. You need to look at the... Dude, I'm not here to write a thesis. I'm not here to do some long ontological study on the history of Has-Been Hotel and Helluva Boss and how they relate. Just watch the goddamn cartoon.
Yeah.
Right.
God.
It's like I'm only interested in discussing the content that I consume, not the extra bullshit I have to do to understand this shit.
Well, on top of that, it's also a fucking stream. I'm like, the stream is probably like an hour long. What, you want me to watch the whole stream just to get this piece of information? No thanks.
No, you know what? I'm gonna say this, and I know this term gets thrown around a lot, especially by morons. But I'm not a moron, so I'm gonna go ahead and say it anyways. This appeals more to the Tumblr crowd. And what I mean by that isn't the look at the social justice warriors. No, I mean that is in Tumblr, people get really, really invested in their fandoms, and that's fine. They want to find all the deep-seated lore, like it's some sort of treasure hunt. Find a bunch
Five Nights at Freddy's.
a bunch of hyper obsessiveness into the background of the characters, why they operate, a lot of fan theories. And if that is what they're going for, they're succeeding because that's what people are doing here. But at the same time, that's not a good way to market your show to the majority of people. It's just not.
Shows what you know. They have a deal with a network.
So did Teen Titans. So does Teen Titans Go.
Yeah, true. That is true.
Restrictions, so it's pretty much free game.
Let's carry on.
That like if the unchanging way of things, maybe he just needs to accept and find happiness at the station he currently is at.
How appropriate that in an episode with a giant mutant fish, it really does become apparent that Blitz is like a big fish in a small pond.
Yeah.
There it is, Jace.
Is that the symbolism that I was?
That's the symbolism.
He's the big fish in the small pond. Well, considering the fact that the small pond was never established in this world, or the small pond that you have presented me with, that was not presented in this world, I do not see this small pond. Maybe Vivzy and her shitty writers should get on that, I guess, if that's actually true.
Especially a pond with multiple rings.
Right, exactly. So, yeah, great symbolism there, guys.
Exactly.
For Blitz to find true happiness, he needs to go inward, because the reality
He considered turning his life to Christ.
is there's no amount of external validation or external success or external respect that will ever fundamentally change who he is. Because, again, look at Veronica. She has everything she wants, but she's still an addict who has all of these, like, personal problems.
And I think that transfers...
What personal problem? What are you...
What Is this more homework we have to do, Jace? Like, do we have to watch 2 more live streams to know what the frick?
Which comic, which webcomic issue do I need to read to find out this amazing fucking backstory that she has, apparently? Because
What
I've missed
pinball
it.
game do I have to play?
What pinball game? Yeah, fucking the old one on Windows
what
98 that you had,
Fortnite
remember?
DLC do I have to pick up?
Fucking hell, dude. Like, this is so sad. Like, again, watching quote-unquote professional writers project so much bullshit that's not there just to convince themselves that it's this deep. Oh, it's fucking hilarious.
It's clear that her main problem is that she's an alcoholic, and that's not born from just imbibing too much. Clearly her My Barbie dolls back when she was a kid, her singing Barbie doll gave her a complex that drove her to suicide via alcoholism that she carries on into her afterlife in hell. See, I can make up nonsense too.
Like I know we're only like almost 7 minutes into this video. I'm gonna be so happy when they get to talking about like fucking Juggalo or Fizzarali, because I'm like, what amazing character antagonist things are they gonna say about this pointless deviation?
I'm gonna be honest here. There isn't much, because most of what I cut out was them just basically sucking the cock of the voice actor for most of it. So
really, here's the thing. I know we're only like 7 minutes in, but you have to understand one thing, Stalin. You know what that is?
What?
We're in hell. We're practically in hell. We're practically in hell, and there's a billboard.
I hate you guys. But hold on, before we move on, I want to say something because she's watching the stream right now. She said, "Wow, that was a fucking reach in regards to the her having issues." But they're at the beach, aren't they? The ocean, thus not a small pond. That analogy doesn't work. I'm like, okay, now she's reading too much into it. Great. See, it's really easy to reach for random bullshit that just isn't there. It's just funny that people are willing to fool themselves into actually believing that type of bullshit. So let's carry on.
Nicely into Lululand, because as much as I love Robo Fizzaroli, and we'll get to him, I think that Lululand does a great job having Robo Fizzaroli be the vector for a conflict we already see between Stolas
it's literally
and
a distraction.
Blitz,
it's literally a fucking writing decision to get Blitz out of the plot, when they should have just taken him out of the plot to begin with and just focus on those two.
Yes, it's a Deus Ex Machina that gets Blitz the fuck out of this fucking episode for a while, or at least away from these characters.
Well,
I wish it would. Go ahead.
Fizzarali, isn't that just a robot version of the character?
Apparently,
it's literally just a robot mascot that was made as a ripoff to another theme park.
But that means that's not the real Fizzarali. So how does the robot know like the backstory between its actual original character, like the person that it was based on, and this clown?
It's been around. It's worked in the theme park as far back as when Blitz was working there.
I don't know about that all too much. All I know is that the Fizzarali character comments and pisses Blitz off. Is like, oh yeah, you used to work here and you sucked at your job.
Nobody laughed at your stupid retarded jokes because you're a stupid retard. And
so he has a beef.
Was I back then in that circus show? That sounds like my kind of argument.
So hold on. So I need to get this through. So he has a beef with a now somehow sentient animatronic creature based on somebody who we don't even know if the dude knows or not. And he wound up getting to a knockdown, drag out pissing contest with a robot over problems of ego?
No. Well, I mean, real quick. No, he was just an animatronic mascot character that someone made.
So there's no sentience.
There is sentience. He has an artificial intelligence of some kind. He is self-aware.
Come on, Leo, it's hell, it's magic. You don't need to explain anything. Fuck you.
Well, they
just name drop some guy who made him, and it's like, okay.
They didn't even explain the fact that happened in hell. Apparently, hell has multiple different layers or whatever. Such a stupid guard. I hate them all.
Yep. Let's carry on.
You're just mad Leo hasn't from Dante's Inferno.
Yeah, exactly. You're just mad that you're not in this show, Leo. Let's be real here, okay?
If I was, I'd punch everything to death.
Yeah.
The episode, Stolas actually cares for Octavia. He has someone that he loves.
He cares about his daughter so much, guys, that he didn't give her a disguise to help keep her safe. That's how much he
no,
loves
no,
the
no,
daughter.
no. He cares about her so much that he decided to indulge his boner and invited a person that ruined her family on the same road trip as her. Yeah, that's. He cares so much, bro. Cares so much.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Him, Blitz even have that. He doesn't have the first step, and that's directly what Robo Fizzaroli is calling him out on just before they have their fight.
He's calling him out on not being funny.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. He
Yeah,
never said, "Lol, faggot, you don't have a daughter." No, he never said anything like that.
Well,
he never even.
he asks if anybody loves him, and he's like, he's not pissed off when he says it. He says it in the most deadpan way ever. He's like, "No, but I'm a great shot," and it's like, and then he just starts a fight with this guy.
But hold on. If they're gonna do a robot fight, why couldn't they have made it something cool like Mechanicong or something? Why do they have to do this goofy little Five Nights at Freddy's rip off?
Because Five Nights at Freddy's is the greatest thing ever, Leo, and it was well written and blah blah blah. Come on.
Stalin, doesn't Fizzaroli give you, what is it, Javel vibes?
Well, I don't know what you're referring to. I'm sorry.
Deltarune.
Oh, yes. No, not really. Like,
it's not even freaking Metalhead from Ninja Turtles. I mean, come on, guys, really?
I wouldn't say I'm getting Javel vibes here. Like, I feel like that's a completely different thing.
I'll tell you, I right off the bat got the Beetlejuice vibes, which is obvious because they hired the guy from not what was it? The
musical.
Guy from the musical.
Which,
yeah,
I'm not a Beetlejuice fan. I didn't even like the cartoon in the late '80s, early '90s. But dude, I listened to that entire music production for it. Fantastic voice, beautiful voice. I do like that voice actor, but talk about wasting talent.
I never listened to the musical. I'm a fan of the movie. I love the movie, but again, like I said,
really good. You really should. It's really good.
Well, maybe I'll check it out. I'm not a fan of musicals in general, so that's, by the way, another reason why I probably don't like any of Vivzy Pop's stuff, because it's very clearly influenced by musicals and the way that they're made or produced.
Well, can't they base it on good ones then?
I don't know.
Right. Yeah, I completely agree. And again, to discuss another wonderful parallel in this show, how like beautifully bizarre that the like weird, edgy demon murder show would have the sort of tragic, doomed like romance and trysts of these two like bisexual dads who have fraught relationships with their daughters. And are really trying to make it work in spite of their like massive personal flaws.
Are they trying?
No. Here's the thing. Like, Stolas wants to get along with his daughter. He wants to try to fix things. He wants to try to bring things back to how they were when she was little. And Blitz is just controlling. It's like, I forbid you to go up to Earth. We have a parking space on the line. Do your fucking job. All that other shit. It's like, he doesn't really seem like he's interested in like having a meaningful relationship. I mean, at the very least, I can say that like he recognizes that he was in the wrong and let Luna do whatever the fuck he wants, or whatever the fuck she wants. But that's not really a sign of them like trying to get along. It's just more of him being like, yeah, I'm a fucking terrible dad. I'll let you do you.
Scary.
It's so true because, Blitz is trying to get there with Luna, and it's clear that
he's trying to get there by winning a fucking contest. What the fuck are you talking about?
Which contest, too? Like, he's not really trying to get there.
Spot.
Yeah, but he's not trying to get there. Exactly.
No, he's all motivated by his hatred for Verosicant. That's it.
Yeah, and the parking spot. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's not even trying to get there. The only time he seems to show any sign of caring is, his usual sympathetic side that he shows to her, but also when she starts drooling over the fucking black furry over there. I forgot his name. Thank you. She starts drooling over him, and he's like gets jealous or something, which is kind of fucking creepy when you think about it. In fact, you know what? There's a lot of fucking incestual undertones that I noticed that are in these fucking relationships. I mean, that time Stolas called him and his daughter hot. That was fucking weird.
It was.
Then this guy
Very
gets fucking
dumb.
flustered when his bitch starts sniffing the ass of another dog. He gets super fucking angry about it. It's kind of weird.
Well,
Kind
it's
of
like they
weird.
try to make him the overprotective dad, and they kind
But
of do it, they kind of don't.
yeah, exactly. Let's carry on.
There's way more ground to cover than like
No.
Stolas and Octavia had.
Real quick,
Go ahead.
I had to comment on this. This is gonna sound really mean. If they wanted to if they wanted to pattern it off of an overprotective dad, did any of them have one? That's not how an overprotective dad acts.
That's great. Actually, you have a good point because in the episode, which you said you watched my review, so in the episode, he starts getting flustered that this guy is hanging around her. So I'm assuming that that's kind of what an overprotective dad does, right? Don't hang out with boys, you know, don't fucking do this, don't do that, right? That's kind of in line. But then it goes off the rails because the second his daughter starts talking back to him and essentially tells him to fuck off, he just fucks off. And I'm like, well, that's not what an overprotective dad would do. An overprotective dad would just grab his daughter by the hand and fucking shove her back home or whatever, right? He'd be more stubborn. This guy just goes like, ah, fuck it. You know what? You want to hang out with him? Hang out with him. Fuck you. And just walks off, you know? I'm like,
Yeah, no, it's more like he's like, enjoy your break. I'm gonna go kill something, which means, as I said in my video, I was like, there's an argument to be made that Blitz cares more about winning the contest than he does about Luna.
absolutely. Exactly. Yeah.
I'm not
That's
saying
what
that
it
he's
is.
incapable of making compromises, but as I said, like, she's the only character that he likes, like, genuinely, like, he's affectionate towards.
What you're saying is that there was an inconsistency in that episode with his character. The fact that he gave up so easily contradicts the level of emotion he has showed towards her throughout the series. You know what I mean? And it makes no sense, which falls in line with what? Poor writing.
It's very I wouldn't say it's contradictive. It's just more of along the lines of like the episode establishes that Luna is essential for the plan because one, she can turn into a human to lure people away, and two, she has an ability to find the targets they're looking for. And as soon as the argument starts, we pan over to Moxie and Millie, and they're like, "Well, looks like they're out of the game. Looks like we're gonna have to handle the list," which pretty much sets up the fact that they never needed her in the first place. So they had to come up with some arbitrary means to basically include her in the story. So they had to do these narrative ass pulls so that they could have this relationship arc with Luna and Vortex to basically, I guess, help develop their relationship, even though like the entire argument introduced absolutely nothing new to their dynamic.
Hmm. Anybody else?
Hate
No?
this show.
Okay, fantastic. Let's carry on.
Because they had a basis, like this base of understanding with each other when she was really young.
Yeah, and importantly to mention, just as another fact.
Oh, I forgot to mention the fact that after they're done arguing, Luna says, he'll be fine, he'll get over it, he always does, which is supposed to say that they've had numerous arguments like this in the past, and it just happens to work out in the end, which basically
Right.
says this entire argument was pointless.
Exactly.
Whether or not it gets resolved.
It's
which it
literally
doesn't.
it's literally the same thing as with Stolas in the second episode where it's just like, I don't know. Okay, Dad, I love you now. Like it's literally the same fucking thing.
I forget, did he ever say I'm sorry?
What, in that second episode?
Yeah, I don't even remember him apologizing to
I
her.
don't remember. But
More to the point, how is it eternal torment one way or another? It operates like the regular world, and you can literally get married, have families, and age.
mm-hmm.
Well, I think the thing that I've noticed, which the pilot of this series introduces, is that people can reproduce in that world, which I've mentioned before makes Charlie's significance in the narrative of the Has-Been Hotel universe is that she was born in this place and doesn't really have the life experience in comparison to the other sinners because they actually lived a life of sin and complications on Earth before going to hell. So it kind of just like makes that sort of plot line redundant because it's not something that's unique to her character.
Oh,
anymore.
I just had a dark thought.
Go ahead.
What if these children that are born in hell are like children that committed suicide or something?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
What the fuck?
Otherwise you have like the problem of innocent souls being born in eternal damnation.
Yeah, you know what? That at least would make the world a little bit more interesting. Well, you know what? Anything would make this fucking world any more interesting because we literally know nothing about it. So you know what?
Yeah.
You could spit any kind of idea in its direction. I'll go like, yeah, it's a good idea because there's literally no fucking ideas.
Hold on, real quick. Tochi no Susa, or no, that's from the book.
Godzilla Man. Go ahead.
It is not considered biblical canon, and it is extremely contradictory to literally every other book of the Bible. So no, demons biblically are not the spirits of giants who drowned in the flood.
It's literally the same criticism I was telling to Jace about the whole fucking parking space thing when he was like, well, it was implied in the story. It's like, how hard is it to write 3 to 5 lines of fucking dialogue to explain shit?
That's so many things like of what me and Hate were talking about, like when we're writing, you know, when we're writing scripts and shit. It's like, well, it's implied this, well, it's implied that. And I'm like, that just further like confirms like how fucking terrible the writing is. It's like you can easily fix these things with just a couple of lines of dialogue. You don't need to do like long exposition or anything. Like it's not.
Yeah, but that's the thing. But then they do long exposition when it's necessary, and that's a bad thing because instead of showing us the things, they're fucking telling us the things. I mean, the argument with Blitz and Luna is a prime example where Luna just gives an exposition dump of I was adopted when I was a teen and I didn't need you back then. I'm like, what is this anime dialogue right now, bro? Chill out. How about
guys?
Go ahead.
We don't have time to have expositional dialogue to set up a story when we can make another pee-pee joke.
That's literally what it is.
We don't have time to develop these characters. Let's have Moxley get stuffed into a keg and let's get him drunk because that's funny.
Right, exactly.
Anyways,
there was only one funny gag that resulted as a result.
Yeah, the high five.
The high five. That's it. Carry on.
Before we properly get on to Robo Fizzaroli live. Robo Fizzaroli, he is another wonderful foil to Blitz who, based on Blitz calling him a slut and the posters implying that he's a sex robot, also fucked Blitz in the past.
It's quite...
Wait, what?
Yeah, I know. First of all, I do not remember because I listed the entirety of that conversation between the two of them, and not once did Blitz call him a slut. He just said that he was a ripoff of a fucking jester clown. That's it.
Right.
Okay. And he's like, "Bitch, I make more money than you." Like, that's it. It's just like a dick measuring contest. I will say that there are like posters in the background that basically give the robot features that it is indeed a sex robot.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I think there's a frame in the video, and I could pause it.
Wait. Well, that's fine. I believe you. But why? Why is he a sex robot? Hold on.
I guess it's some like implications that it may or may not be molesting the children. I don't know. I don't.
What the fuck?
It's a companion robot.
Let me pull up the transcript
I don't know.
real quick. Hold on.
What the fuck?
And in fairness, they're in hell. They're practically in hell.
I mean, yeah, true, but that's not even like. Okay, listen. There's ways to write horrible things. Like again, go read Punisher, Max, and you'll see plenty of horrendous fucking shit happening.
God, you will.
Right.
Indeed.
Right. But it has a purpose. Like, you know, it actually has a purpose of showing you how fucked up Frank's world is and giving you a feeling of satisfaction when he murders the people that are responsible for the horrendous shit. Here, just dropping that he's a sex robot, and I guess you said that the implication is, but I don't know if that's actually the intent.
Well, I have no idea. It's like
right. So let's just say
a sex robot, and then they jump
so let's
over
just
to.
say. So hold on. So let's
just
the
fucking transcript.
Okay, go ahead.
Just to double check here. So that whole conflict starts with him with Robo saying, "Is that Blitzo? My sensors spot up there. I bet the kitties are still running away from you, huh?" And then Blitz says the O is silent now, and then Fizz says, "Oh, just like your audience was when you told your lazy jokes here." And then Blitz says, "Bitch, I make more money killing people than you do being a cheap-ass robo ripoff of an overrated sellout jester." Fizz says, "So someone salty, real or not? Though people love me, does anybody love you, Blitzo? No, but I'm really good with guns now. Dance, bitch." That's the entire fucking interaction there. After that, it's just Blitz saying, "I'll handle this guy." That's basically
they're just making more shit up.
Well, thing is, if you have good writing, it'll stick with you. Because I'll tell you what, I can bring something to Jace's mind about Punisher Max of 3 words.
Yeah, go ahead.
Don't come here.
Yeah.
So when I say that, Jace, what do you think? What do you remember?
I remember a lot. I'm assuming you're referencing Slavers, correct?
Yes, with the drug cartel member and
yeah. Exactly. I'm just trying to remember specifically. Yeah, it just brings up a very, let's say, very gratuitous level of violence. But that's the thing, is that you say that there's posters. So they didn't say that the robot is a sex robot or in the dialogue, but there is implications that he's a sex robot in the posters or whatever, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm willing to take your word. Right. So, well, to that, I'm going like, okay, he's a robot that's built to entertain kids. That's what's shown to us. That's what he does, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I'm sitting there, I'm going like, if they put that in the posters, what's the point? Literally, what's the fucking point?
Yeah.
They don't elaborate on that. They don't mention it again. What's the fucking point? How about you put something in the background that has any kind of fucking meaning to it, But no, I don't fucking know. Like that can lead us to assume that he does molest kids at these shows, and you can't even blame us for it because that's literally the clue that's given to us. And I'm like, so he molests kids at the show? That's not even a reach. That's a logical conclusion. It's fucking.
Like, it's the worst that's implied is that like Octavia is traumatized by the robot because it's fucking creepy. That's it.
Yeah, but then now because of the sex clown posters, I can go like, oh, he molested her, didn't he? Like, oh, Vivsy, your writing style is amazing. Let's carry
Moxie, on. Don't let her access any of your holes.
God damn it.
Possible. It's quite possible that like everybody who has some kind of antagonistic relationship to Blitz, who like is a pre-existing figure in Blitz's life, was also perhaps a sexual partner at some point.
Can't wait for the later episodes when we find out that like Blitz was also fucking the mom from Murder Family.
If they put him in the montage.
Wait, what? Oh, they're just joking about him potentially, or okay, whatever. Never mind.
That would have thrown me for a loop, I'll admit it.
Would have been funny, though. We spoke about how Veronica is this very, like, she believes she's the shit, and she has, like, the entourage to back it up, and just by her being there, Blitz starts to feel really insecure. The fun thing about Fizzaroli is that he directly needles Blitz on his, insecurities. There's implications based on kind of posters in the Imp office that Blitz was Donnie Dupree style, kind of a like child performer along with his sister who was in rehab with Veronica. Feel free to correct me on that if I'm wrong. It's clear that, again, as we said before, being paid attention.
Can I just interrupt and say, yeah, how about we learn all this implicated shit that is put in the posters in the background? How about we just dedicate like, I don't fucking know, first or second episode of the show to it, so we could actually understand what makes the character tick,
Wait till you get to hear what they say about the murder family, Jace.
I can't wait. Actually, I cannot wait.
I cannot fucking wait.
Attention to, given that kind of validation and positive reinforcement is immensely important to Blitz. And Robo Fizzaroli.
We've already covered this. I'll quickly remind that none of that is ever implied about the character whatsoever in the show.
Really constantly says to him, remember how the kids love me and not you?
It's fantastic because, in a sense, Blitz, he's doing a new thing now. He's doing his, like, imp business, and he seems really passionate about, like, making this business work and, like, deepening the relationships with the people around him for wholesome
not.
and... No.
Go ahead.
No,
why not? Why not? What makes you say that? Go ahead.
Well, if he's deeply interested in deepening his relationships with the people around him, he'd actually spend time doing shit outside of work to deepen their relationships in some way, and maybe not insulting his teammates' intelligence, maybe not trying to ignore the guy that is giving him the fucking book that lets him go to the living world and treating him like he's the plague, basically.
Well,
Maybe
the funniest thing, I think their explanation to that would be is that, well, no, he's written in such a way, it's purposely done so because it means to show you that he cannot just actively reach out to someone to ask them for, this
keep
emotional
people away.
attachment. Yeah, he tends to keep them away because he doesn't know how to communicate with people because he has autism or something. I don't fucking know, but like that would he's essentially Shadow the Hedgehog. Like that's what he is, I am the ultimate life form, and fuck you.
Maria.
And then, Maria gets his ass beat. And I was like, oh, Sonic,
Mary
you're my best
Sue.
friend now. Yeah, like it's the same fucking shit that is over here. It's not a new character type, but
I have all the Chaos Emeralds.
goodbye, Doctor. But anyways, there's ways to write that type of character, and the way that he's written in the show is shit. Like I'll tell you now, Shadow the Hedgehog is a far better written character than this fucking retard, despite the fact that they're the same character. God damn it. Oh, I'm praising Sonic writing. I want to kill myself.
Does Blitzo have a problem with stealing candy from babies?
Well, where's that fourth damn Chaos Emerald? That's the question I have.
He has no problem killing kids. They kill kids for free.
Unwholesome reasons. And so it almost seems like the seething resentment he has for people who got farther in show business than him hasn't faded away. In a sense, he has moved on, but that doesn't mean he's going to just sit there and take it.
Again, I hate how much Blitz is relatable in that sense. This feeling of oh fuck's sake.
Wait,
really?
Go back.
Really?
Quick.
He's relatable? Wait, what do you want to go back? What?
Yeah, no, hang on. You keep going.
Okay.
Again, I hate how much Blitz is relatable in that sense. This feeling of
it just covered it again. It had all the details on that poster right back there, Jace, about Fizzaroli.
Okay, we're a personal companion. Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, it was covered up all over there, but it's right there.
All right.
Oh, fuck's sake, I'm trying to move on. Why won't you let me? Anyone who has seen the Heads of Sierra Black.
Okay, well, here's the thing. Let me tell you the thing that we tell everybody who's like, I don't want to deal with the drama anymore. Use the fucking block button. Would stop Blitz from having to take Fizzaroli shit and just walk away. It's like, yeah, I got a job to do. Go fuck yourself. And then,
well, it's his ego, It's his ego that stops him. Go ahead.
Hold on, I'm gonna back up hate here. I went ahead and pulled up a PNG of the poster. Here's what it says. He's holding handcuffs that are shaped like hearts. It gives and receives. Good for your pleasure. BDSM feature. Real tentacle action. 10-speed vibration. Machine washable.
Okay, so now let's go back to that real quick because I'm curious. What does that add to the fucking robot character?
Absolutely. It's just that he's a sex robot, so pretty much nothing.
Is it funny?
No.
Okay, so there's literally no... Fantastic, great. Thanks for that pointless inclusion, Busy. Anyways, regardless of that, let's get back on topic with what they're saying is that I love how they're saying, I hate how relatable he is. Well, I have some bad news for you, bro. He's probably relatable to you because you're probably just as much of a piece of shit as he is. Because... Well, literally, to me, there's nothing relatable about this character. And, you're going to say, well, that's you, and that's him, and that's somebody else. I'm like, okay, I find nothing, put it in perspective. I find nothing there to be relatable to a character who is a fucking pussy who cannot confront his own emotions, which I don't even know if that's his issue, because, again, they're just piling on this theory, so I'm going off of what they're saying. Of what they believe this to be the character. So I have no relation to a pussy character who cannot confront his emotions and just reach out to people that he cares about so that they would care about him in return. I also have no relation to an egomaniac who is willing to torture other people's lives just to make his own fucking better. I find no relatability to that. Absolutely none.
Well, it's weird. It's like they say that he has an inability to confront his flaws, and yet they say at the beginning of the video that he's very territorial, he's egotistical, and if anyone gives him shit, he basically confronts them about it, and that there's a lot of damage that happens in the background. So it's like, which is it? Does he run from his problems, or does he actually confront his problems?
Well, I think they meant is that he's not afraid to confront people, but he's afraid to confront his personal problems within himself. essentially he's afraid to look in a mirror, is what they're saying. Yeah, you know what I mean. But like, regardless of that, see, if that was his character, that was the core of the character. Okay, on that level, he'd be relatable. But none of that is presented in the episode. So far, the only thing that is presented about him is that he's an unlikable cunt who just ruins people's lives for no fucking reason. Well, that's all there is to him.
Well, it's like, besides the shit dialogue of like the scene between Blitz and Fizzaroli, it's like as the conversation is continuing, he gets more and more pissed off at the things that this robot is saying to him. And then, like, right before he starts the fight, he just says in the most deadpan expression, most deadpan voice ever, "No, but I'm a good shot."
Yeah, it's like, where did your emotion? Yeah, where did your emotion buildup go? Right, like, it's inconsistent. That word is going to be bouncing around this stream a lot. Actually, I'm going to tell you that now. Let's carry on.
Blanca video on this channel knows that I've been involved in things that I'm not necessarily proud of, and have tried to sort of like reinvent myself in different things since, like I'll show Less is Morgue. There is some...
I'm sure the type of things you were into are probably located on a website called Rule 34 or Fur Affinity. That's my bet, at least.
I think so frustrating about this feeling of like when things from a past that is like sour to you comes back, you become a person you don't want to be. In Lululand, that's very evident from early on because Blitz is very sort of high alert and antsy and angry just being in the amusement park because obviously he knows who's there.
I think more than anything, he's just annoyed being Stolas's bodyguard, and he's
exactly, yeah. That's
like,
what
I'm
the
getting
episode...
paid, bitch. Like, don't.
Wait, hold on. He's bouncing all around. They're trying to do it for fun. If you weren't there, wouldn't he have a better understanding in the lay of the land than anybody else there? He wouldn't need to be taking point randomly in places that don't make any sense.
Leo, stop picking apart logical things. You don't know what you're talking about. But no, I think you do have
that's logic.
It's, again, they're piling on shit that the episode clearly did not indicate. From the very start in that episode, the point of contention that Blitz has is that he has to work for Stolas. That's his point of contention. He didn't even mention the fucking Lululand. He already got pissed off the fact that he's calling him. That's his main point of contention. He doesn't want to be there because he doesn't want Stolas to flirt with him or whatever. That's what it is. It's not the fact that he's at the amusement park. Like, where are you getting this from? Again, where are you getting this from?
I love how the episode ignores, Jace, the one potential possibility for, like, Octavia and Blitz to actually empathize with each other, and that's that they both fucking hate the clown.
Let's carry on.
Just like with Veronica, a great thing about the villains in this show is they often remind our main characters in different ways of very uncomfortable truths, either about themselves or like a sort of wider philosophical thing.
What way?
What? Like, he says so as if it's a consistent thing. Let's ignore the fact that there's only 4 fucking episodes of this thing is out. You can't say that because episode 1, none of that. I've seen
get to that when we get to that.
Got it. I know what's happening. It was a massive shift. We're not talking about Helluva Boss. They're talking about Batman. They just forgot what they were discussing.
That's your wishful thinking, I think. That's what it is, Leo.
I wish.
I don't want them talking about Batman, the animated series especially, if this is their quality of writing on display here.
Which we'll get more into in the family, but there's much more to discuss with fucking Fizzarelli before then, because I've got to say, cards on the table, my favorite villain of the...
No,
of course.
Don't.
He's given as well so much character by the fabulous kinetic animation on him. Like, that character just looks so good.
Because he looks so good, he's automatically awesome, guys. He's so deep and cool. And
that's a very
I'll confess. I'll confess to having this mentality when I was 11 years old. You know what character it was pertaining to? Darth Maul. As an 11-year-old, I watched Darth Maul and I was like, wow, that's the coolest Star Wars character ever. And then and this was before he came back, obviously. This was when he was just cut in half. And that's the coolest character ever. That logical basis was based on the fact that he looked cool.
In the night.
It's like the same thing, Jace, where it's like, oh my god, I loved Count Dooku's character because it was played by Christopher Lee or whatever, you know?
Yeah,
It's like you got a
exactly.
great actor on this scene, and he's like giving his all with the schlock dialogue that Lucas is giving him, and it's like,
let's go down the list here. So, all right, in order to be a good character, all right, you gotta look cool, you gotta have a family, you gotta have a baby,
you gotta act cool. That's also important. Right, that's it, and that's it. You know, like never mind the fact that Count Dooku can rhyme with Count Poo Poo. You know, so it's like that's
really, Jace. Really, you went with Count Poo Poo and not Count Dookie.
So fucking hell. Okay, let's carry on.
Every second on screen, and a big part of that is owed to the fact he has like quite a nice, simple design, and that allows them to do
nothing. Nothing about this design is simple. Absolutely.
What was
nothing.
Jace, by the way, when they were like, we have a lot more to talk about Fizzaroli, that's like literally.
That's all it is. Yeah, that's all it is.
No. It's like literally that's one of the sections I had to cut out, and that was literally them gushing over like the voice actor for 3.5 minutes.
Really? Are you serious? Yeah. So they're literally talking about like cosmetical shit, and that's it.
Yeah, and then they talk about some unrelated bullshit about how like one of the two guys in there sounds like Blitz. And they just bitch about that for like another minute and a half, but it's like...
Okay. Well, the thing is, they're talking about cosmetical shit, which makes me think they're probably really big on the CSGO lottery thing that goes on in the game, you know, where you get like different skins for guns. If this gets their dick hard, that must get their dick really hard. Like, oh my god, he's great character because he's so awesomely animated. Not really. He's not animated any differently than any other character in this fucking show.
I'm going to have to say the animation quality for me has been very on the down low. There's been a lot of moments animation-wise where it's like, this looks really choppy.
Like, I stopped, like, yeah, when he does this dance on this stage here, that looks really fucking choppy to me, you know?
No, it's like you go to episode 3 and they get out of the elevator, Jace. I told you this before, but it's like, it looks really choppy. It's like, what the fuck am I looking at? It looks like they didn't get like the swayness in it or whatever. It's just so weird.
Well, okay, so far, guys, in order to have a cool antagonist, make him look cool. Which, you know, fair enough. That is a very great component. But according to these guys, that's all you fucking need. So, yeah.
Really? Right here. Give an example of the counter for protagonist. As real Batman. It's really cool.
Don't remind me of that thing. I'm so happy Frank kicked his ass.
I'm so happy that you're here and you get it.
So many things with him, which honestly is, in my opinion, something Helluva Boss has always had over Has-Been Hotel. The fact they have simpler character designs with nice bold outlines has allowed them to do things saying they had that is much.
Stop it before you talk.
I know, that's what I was doing. Someone keeps on pausing it.
No, I think it's just you. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's like, so you're basically saying that they had more money than they did before. That the animation looks better because they have more people working on this. They have more equipment. Better.
Well, I guess they're saying that the designs look more simpler as well. But if you ask me, you put like 2 and 2 side by side, I'll be like, it's all the same shit, bro.
Well, it's the same thing with CGI, Jason, films. It's like you got money, you got time, and also at the same time, technology has improved. So it's just.
I hope they spend that money to buy a gun.
Yeah. I hope they use that money to buy monkeys on typewriters because then they'd be able to write a better script.
Good.
With the more intricate and like detail-heavy designs you see in Has-Been.
Yeah, I'd say every one of the villains that has appeared so far has appealing designs. Like even down to like the minions. Like I'd say each one of Verosika's succubus crew like has like a memorable look about them. It's kind.
What does memorable look? What does that entail? Like
there's a key of character design when it comes to character design. Being able to tell the character's general personality by a single glance.
Yes.
You can't do that with any of the characters in the show because they're all kind of samey on the color palette and on the design. Like they look like they're all background characters. There's nothing that stands out about any of these characters.
Right. Actually, funny enough, I had this conversation with someone, with a friend of mine, and I pointed out to her because I was looking for soundtrack from Courage the Cowardly Dog because I'm to this day very pissed off that Cartoon Network will not allow the creators of Courage to release the soundtrack in its full glory. But one of the tracks I stumbled upon in the playlist was, so does anybody remember the episode Flan, Fantasy Flan, or whatever it's called?
Fantasy Flan.
Right. All right, so you remember it, right? So remind me, what design did the villain in that show, in that episode, have? Do you remember?
I actually don't.
Okay, so he was a fat ass, but he was very round. It was a very round design, right? So now give that character with his flan gimmick to a modern writer like Vivsy, and his way of attack will be a flan gun or something like that. Something very typical and uncreative. But put it in the hands of John Dilworth, who's super into what was it, expressionism? I think he was into. I don't remember. He was one of those art styles, and because he's super into that, he sees things in shape. So when he gave his character the round design, and because the character is a fat ass, the way he attacks is by morphing into a ball and rolling around the ground, creating a marble rolling on the ground effect, squishing everything in his pathway, right? And I'm going like, that's brilliant. There's nothing indicating around him that he should be able to do that, but because he's designed that way, it's an extension of his character of being a fat ass, and it's simple, but it's great. Here, every character in this show, none of their abilities extend who they are. None of their designs extend their character. Like, their design contributes nothing to their character. And it's not just relative to the villains, it's relative to every character in this fucking show, right?
It's like the only thing we could probably say is because Luna is a hellhound and she's got canine features, she's just somehow able to magically bullshit sniffing names off a list and finding people. It's like,
yeah, she sniffs it or whatever, right? But like, further point, let's say the best example of this that we've seen in this show is, I'm gonna come back and say, the clown robot, because he's this stretchy animatronic that can wrap around people and shit like that. So I guess that kind of makes sense, but that's the only instance of that ever pops up. And considering that every character in the show looks like a lanky fuck, they should all have that ability, if we were going from that perspective. But that's my point. The designs, they're cancer. They contribute nothing to the character. They're just eye candy, which is just, if you have really bad taste, type of eye candy. That's the only type of people it appeals to.
All I'm going to say is Fizzaroli did nothing wrong.
Let's carry on.
Blitz fired first. Everything else he did after that was
kind of seamless. Like, you can spot them in demon form and in human form, and you know exactly who's who.
And I just want to say as well, I really appreciate all of the design work and the choice that, like, these succubuses, who are obviously, just literally the embodiment of, like, sex and sexual desire and seduction. It's so nice.
The only reason you can say that is because of these types of shots where they're sucking on a lollipop, or they're making out with someone to death. That's the only reason. If they were not doing any of that, you wouldn't even figure out that they were succubis. Like, it would not register in your brain that they were succubis. Actually, a great example of a succubi design, where the character didn't even need to say that they're a succubi or imply that they're a succubi. So Leo, you'll get this. Shinjuku, Monster City, Monster Island, which one it was? Right.
City.
Yeah, have you've seen it, right?
Seen parts of it.
Oh, you've seen parts of it. There's a character in there. So Monster City, it's filled with demons, right? And one of the demon characters is this woman. She's dressed normally. She appears normally. She has a little bit of a, shows off her rack, the dress that she's wearing. Not a dress, a shirt. It shows off her rack or whatever, and she gets in an altercation with one of the characters. And as the fight goes on, she begins to transform. Like, she doesn't leave her human form. Her human form stays intact, but her arms extend and turn into tentacles. Her legs become like tentacles that extend and shit like that. And she has a very slippery and this type of vibe. And I'm going like, that's a fucking succubus. Or like and she doesn't have to say it like at all. Her design gives it away. You look at these characters, whether they're in their demon form or in their human form, I cannot tell that they're succubus. Not at all. There's nothing about them that implies that.
I would say the red eyes would be a standout.
No, because everybody in hell has red eyes. That's it.
Well, oh, I thought you meant like on Earth, and the Earth.
Even on Earth. Well, what makes them different from a vampire? Why can't I assume that they're a vampire? See what I mean?
Vampires crave for like sexual feeding or something.
No, but that's what I mean, because the plot tells you that they are sexual deviants. You're like, oh well, succubus. I'm telling you, if you take them out and just design, you look at their design sheet. Does it tell you that they're succubus? Can you tell?
No.
All right, don't worry. I have
Exactly.
some amazing image on screen.
I think it leans more on the factor of
King of Flan. Goddammit. Go ahead.
Just leave that right on the screen.
I think it leans more on the factor of just like mainstream media, where it's like we're just gonna include features from like animes or like other mythological imagery, and just have people be like, "Oh yeah, I've seen that
lazy.
design
before." So what you're saying, it's lazy. That's what uncreative and lazy. That's all you have to
basically.
Yeah.
Nice. They are like given such varied like body types, genders, races, heights, weights, etc. Because it's just saying that like the attractiveness is so much in just
it's saying people have preferences. Yeah, good job.
Like the vibe and the aura and the confidence, and like there's more than one way to be.
They just look like Hot Topic rejects.
Yeah,
that's all what they look
literally
like.
Just sex symbols.
Right.
And the reason why they're different in height and different in race is because it's just supposed to say, well, people just roll different ways. Some people are gay.
Some people find manlets attractive. Some people find midgets attractive. Yes, no shit.
Yeah.
Be this like sexy character.
Oh boy.
Murder Family.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this wonderful pastiche of a very interesting series of films.
The thing about Murder Family that like strikes me immediately is that the more and more context we've gotten into like the entire imp team, Murder Family almost seems like the perfect villains for the first proper episode, because it's where we kind of want the heroes to end up in a strange sense.
I don't want them to end
this
up like that.
Loving family that has set dynamics, they all understand who they are to each other, genuinely care for each other, but also murder people.
I couldn't agree more. And also, like, it's on the record from our very first Helluva Boss video that we weren't the biggest fans of the pilot.
We're not really counting that in this because there isn't really a villain. Like, there's the kid in the end that, like, allows them to do the murder, but, like, he doesn't really play an act.
I wouldn't say that there's a villain in the episode, but I definitely say that the team themselves is their greatest antagonist, because it's just, like, the episode goes out of its way to show, like, how disjointed and how unorganized and how retarded they all are. It's like, you don't really need to have someone outside of the main cast to play the role as the antagonist. You could just have someone within that group, or just the dynamic within the group, be the antagonistic factor.
Well, I mean, the kid is still an antagonist.
I'd say he's the cause of. I'd say he's the cause of their problems in that episode.
He's the cause of their resolution as well. So yeah, it's like. Anyways,
it's like the other thing with like protagonists and antagonists is that it's like the protagonists like react to the actions of the antagonist. So it's like,
right,
which is weird because like the murder family are actually reacting to the actions of the protagonist, because they're in their living room, they get shot at, and they react with hostility. The same way with like Fizzleroli or whatever.
But because she's a cannibalistic slut, it's all okay. Well, actually, in fact, the funny thing is, in the structure of that episode, you don't know that they're cannibals up until like, okay, if you're paying attention to the backgrounds in their living room, then maybe you pick up on it later. But up until that point, all the only horrible thing that she's done is be a slut. That's pretty much it.
She on her husband. Yeah, no, we get that, and it's like It's like the fact that they're cannibals, like I get that it's being downplayed in a certain sense that like in comparison to her cheating with her husbands, but it's the simple fact that the episode's like we don't really give a shit if people are innocent. Like the episode even blatantly states that nobody actually is innocent. Um, blah blah blah. It's like the thing is like my complaint of the episode is that the episode went out of its way to give us a reason to dislike this woman. And
Yes,
it's like
exactly.
They don't even need to give us a reason. It's like, you know what would have made the first episode so much better is if they made it a fucking mystery. It's like they have this guy coming in their office and it's like, I want this fucking woman gone. Just do it. Deal with it. Get her off the face of the earth. And doesn't even bother to give him an explanation.
Role in the plot as like an antagonist.
Despite not being wowed by the pilot, we still obviously wanted to give the show a chance because, you know, we're the most reasonable men in America, despite the fact I'm in England. Upon, like, the second the reveal happened that this family was, in fact, a murder family, and you notice, like, Texas Chainsaw, Ed Gein style, like...
oh, God, don't insult Texas Chainsaw like that, dude. Come on, you don't do dirty like that. Poor Leatherface, man. All he had to do was chainsaw. Now they're comparing him to fucking Helluva Boss.
Lampshades and bone, like photograph frames and like mounted heads. And the second they were revealed to be this family of killers, I was like, oh, it was that fucking like Django meme moment of, oh, you had my curiosity. Now you have my attention.
And what's fascinating...
Really? Really? That's what got your like super amazing attention is the fact that they are a killer family. That's it.
I'll tell you what got my attention is when the wife was like, "What was that, Ralphie?" And he's like, "I don't know." And it's like, and then they pull their guns
gunshot.
out. Yeah, they pull their guns out. It's like, what the fuck?
I tell you what I'm surprised by, like the fucking reload speed. Am I right?
Yeah,
the reload speed of the double barrel shotgun.
Yeah, but it's like it's such a simple fucking reveal. It's not even mind blowing. Like it comes out of nowhere. Right. Well, I mean, the title of the episode can be perceived as deceiving because maybe the title of the episode implies the imp family, right? The imps, because they're a murder family in a way. But it's more like see, to me when I go like holy shit is, let's say, a Darth Revan moment when it's like you know, you're Darth Revan. It's like, oh, what the fuck, you know, that blows my brain. Shit like this where it just comes out of fucking nowhere just for the sake of the plot convenience, I'm just going like, well, that's fucking stupid, you know. But you know, I'm not a professional writer. They're the professional writers, so you know, what the fuck am I to talk about here? Oh God, I reversed it. Oh no. Sorry, but does anybody remember the time we're on?
It was
my bad.
Right about here.
Okay.
Like, it's on the record from our very first Helluva Boss video that we weren't the biggest fans.
Forward.
Despite not being wowed by the pilot, we still obviously wanted to give the show a chance because, you know, we're the most reasonable men in America, despite the fact I'm in England. Upon, like, the second the reveal happened that this family was, in fact, a murder family, and you notice, like, Texas Chainsaw, Ed Gein style, like, spine, lampshades and bone, like photograph frames and like mounted heads, and the second they were revealed to be this family of killers, I was like, oh, it was that fucking like Django meme moment of, oh, you had my curiosity, now you have my attention.
And what's fascinating too is that murder family in a like show sense, like they are directly challenging Moxie's principles throughout the show, but Moxie is also usually a character defined by his disdain for and disagreement with Blitz, who, as we've like stated multiple times, you actually kind of end up rooting for him more and more. I'm gonna just
wait, rooting for who? Blitz or Moxie? I'm confused here. Okay, well, first off, this moral issue that he has in this episode comes out of nowhere.
Pulled out of their ass.
It pulled out of their ass. Like he had no issue. He had no issue killing the kid in the pilot whatsoever, which was a family member of someone's. He had absolutely zero problems with that. But then, of course, you could say, well, the pilot's not canon, so like you could see this as a new character introduction. Well, it's a very shitty introduction because nothing in the beginning of the episode implies that. Well, I guess there's talk about the fucking, you know, how families are not innocent in the fucking office, but then it's just exposition dumping.
Well,
instead of
yeah,
showing.
no, let me make another tangent there. So you have Blitz being fed the information about this woman that the teacher wants them to kill, which we have no explanation as to how she found that out. After that, we have the discussion that Jace mentioned about the morals of like killing a family or just like ruining a family in general.
Isn't that a moral?
And Millie is a part of this discussion, like trying to like help him rationalize this. Then we get to the house, and what happens? Blitz is basically offering Moxie the chance to kill this woman, and then he's like, "Okay, too slow. I'm gonna give you the rifle, or I'm gonna take the shot." And during the entirety of this argument that's going on, or this disagreement, Millie isn't taking a part in this, who is Moxie's wife and partner. You got Blitz withholding information that he could just literally make up on the fly and be like, "Oh, this bitch did this and this," or whatever. And it's like all of that is done in service so this conflict can happen. It's fucking retarded.
Right. Let's carry on.
Oh. Predict in the future. All this talk about, like, you know, antagonists and people, like, being in conflict, I think that this show has a potential powder keg that they need to, like, you know, deliver on at, like, a very precise moment in the future. And it's the moment where Mox and Blitz finally come to blows.
I would personally very much like to see
there you
John
go.
Wick boss battle style.
I stopped it, don't worry. Go ahead.
There you go, Jace. There's Blitz's Kakarot.
Oh no.
I want to have the big epic showdown between two characters nobody gives a shit about.
I mean, okay, like I said.
Well, no, it's like they say at the beginning, Jace. It's like, well, these are episodic and they're very discontinuous. And now it's like I want to have an episode where like this is all going to build up and it's in a powder keg and it's
yo, dude, you
Which
have a
one
point.
is
It's
it?
like it's an episodic show. It's like, okay, but I want to have a build up to this epic show. Well, it's not fucking episodic, you amazing fucking writer, you autist. Jesus fucking Christ. Oh, I actually am. No wonder they fucking like this show, because the level of inconsistency in their fucking thinking is the same as the level of inconsistency of the writers in the show, you know? Holy shit. This is the type of shit that Vivzy panders this crap to.
Yeah, there you go. Vivzy, you got 2 more writers you can hire. They'll make you work just as inconsistent as you and what the fuck his name is? Richard? I forget what his name is.
Spencer?
Richard Spencer or whatever. I don't know. Brandon, there you go. It was Brandon.
Let's carry on. Hopefully
Qatar fight between Moxie and Blitz while they argue about their like employer-employee relationship.
Exactly. That's what I want to see. I want to see them jumping through like between cover, reloading, exchanging like quips, and like
and hopefully killing each other off forever. That would be my dream.
This murder family, like you said, Gus, they're really interesting in that they challenge Moxie's worldview. Because as we said earlier, villains are all about creating both literal and thematic conflict a lot of the time. They are, after all, antagonists. And the murder family are wonderful because they kind of mess with Moxie's preconceived notion of, like, family equals innocent.
I'm going to be honest here. I think that the story is... The issue of the story is Blitz didn't double fucking tap. It's like he had 8 seconds to fucking blow that bitch's brains out after he missed the first shot, and they're just going like, "What was that, Ralphie?"
Well, no, the thing is just that they're talking about like the purpose of the villain.
Yeah, no, I get it, but I'm just like, this could have all been easily.
True, but let me finish. Is that they're not wrong, right? The purpose of a villain is to challenge the protagonist, correct? To challenge their worldviews, to challenge whatever. The problem is that when you have a protagonist that is a blank slate, and then you randomly attach a worldview that they never had to them, it's like if in one comic the Punisher is challenged by, I don't know, fucking a villain, and like it's challenging Frank's view on never like on killing villains, right? And I'm like, and Frank has an issue with that, where he can't kill him, or like he shouldn't kill him. And I'm like, that's not his view. He would not have this conflict. He would just blow the guy's brains out, you know. And they're shoving, so that nullifies, because they shove it out of nowhere, this worldview onto Moxie. It automatically nullifies this challenge, because it also comes out of fucking nowhere. Just like it comes out of nowhere that the family is a family of cannibals. It's like everything's being pulled out of the ass.
Well, it's like at the same time, it's like some Game of Thrones shit where it's just like Jon Snow is established as a character who like is very honorable. He takes action when things go wrong. The dude literally fucking murders a child because that child and the rest of the other members of the Night's Watch tried to murder him for letting the wildlings in. And so he has to execute a child. And then you got fucking Daenerys, who like burns a city full of tens of thousands of innocent people, and it takes his sister, Daenerys's advisor, to basically say, John, he's a bad person. She's a bad person. She killed a load of people, and it like takes him like so fucking long to just plunge the knife into her heart. It's like it's so fucking dumb.
Right. Somebody said, even in episode 4, Maxie had no hesitation on killing that old man. Like, do they forget their own character's personality traits? And I'm like, is this true? Because I didn't see episode 4. Did he kill an old man?
So, no, it's not that they tried to kill him. It's more along the lines of, like, he was fine with this old fucker killing himself. And then, like, when the cherub showed up and basically got rid of his means of trying to kill himself, Blitz is like, hey, Mox, do you have any weapons that this old fuck can use to, like, kill himself? And he, like, pulls out a bunch of shit. And then even later on in the episode, it's like, why do these cherubs give a fuck about saving some, like, blah, 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 anti-capitalistic, rich guy, bad rhetoric? And then and then Moxie tries to kill the cherubs. Like, they never attempt to kill the old guy. This whole episode is about, like, kill yourself, faggot.
Oh, okay, fantastic. I wish the writers of the show would apply to that philosophy, but regardless.
Jesus.
Again, makes sense that he has that notion, given that he is the closest to having one. Given that he has Millie, and haven't some people mentioned before there's the implication they have a child?
By implication, you mean, like, in their social media that is outside of the show, they have a child, then yes, there is an implication.
Fair enough. But yeah, so naturally, Moxie would think, it'd be a shame to kill an innocent family, given that I have one.
Yeah, but the context is that's not within the context of the episode. Like, it's never established in the episode that Moxie has a child. I mean, you could make the argument that he is in a relationship with his wife. He's a married man, and it's like you could say, like, when Blitz is looking through the scope of his rifle on the wife, that Moxie is seeing like Millie on the other end there, and it's like, no, how about we don't kill him? But it's like, what relevance does this have? This is never established.
Well, the funniest thing
of the episode.
The funniest thing is also is that to kind of naturalize this inner conflict that Moxie has, is you have his wife right there next to him in that situation, and she could like either back him up or whatever, like to show that he for a while has held this position, right? Because he's been right for a while. So if she shows him support or comforts him over it or tries to defend him from Blitz or whatever, to me that speaks, oh, okay, they've been like dealing with this for a while, this world philosophy that he has or whatever, right? And that kind of legitimizes it. But in the entire episode, no, nothing like that ever fucking happens. So there's no weight to it whatsoever.
No. It's like I list off all these situations, Jace, where it's like you bring this up and then you establish this and then you just ignore it. So this
you don't do anything with it. Exactly, you don't do anything with it.
It's just artificial,
right?
Realizes throughout, like, this family ain't so innocent. But what's interesting is Moxie does win in the end, because even though they have that great last minute dark joke of the police being the police and using excessive force and
police bad.
We got our social commentary, guys. Police bad.
Police bad.
Leo. Oh, he woke up. I was about to say, is he asleep over there? What do you think? What do you think of this amazing joke?
Rather stick needles in my dick hole.
You mean your
Hey, you
reflex?
joined yourself. Yeah, it's your fault.
Well, I
but-
did. I'm saying that like it's. God, can they be lazier?
right, right.
Mm,
Like
I'd give them an award if they could top that.
it's like, haha, guys, police killed an innocent family. Well, not innocent, but well, that's the thing. The police didn't even kill an innocent family. They just killed a bunch of murderers. I'm like, and I'm supposed to think the police are bad guys?
Hold on, Annie. No one is harassing Busy Pop. He doesn't even
Wait.
know we exist.
Who said
What are
that?
you
Who
going
said
on
that?
about?
So this guy in the chat is getting really. He got like super angry over like you know.
Okay,
bro-
I'll read it. I'll read it. Hey, Jose Snake. I guess my name is Jose. I guess I'm Mexican. Great joke to tell the writers to off themselves because you don't like a show and stop harassing Vivzy Pop. No, what are you gonna do now? Hey, should you be freaking off? I don't know. Should you be freaking off? Are you two queen bug off? Okay, so he's just telling everybody to fuck off and telling me not to be. Well, listen, they don't have to listen to what I have to say. If I told them to top themselves, I'm pretty sure I did. They don't have to listen to me. That's what an adult reaction would be, to just go like, "Who's this internet faggot who's telling me to kill myself?" Whatever, fuck him. That's a normal reaction. But according to you, I'm harassing Vivzy Pop as well. So, well, that's great. Could you inform Vivzy Pop of that? That'd be great.
Yeah.
I'm sure she'd be happy to know that I'm harassing her.
I got
We'll
another
harass
thing.
her if
Can you
need be.
stop being a little punk, Jace? And Jose, can you tell me to catch these hands, little gecko?
Wait, where did you
He
read
just
this?
put that in the chat.
Oh, did he? I don't see it. Hold
I'll
on.
tell you what, Danny. After we're done covering this, you can come in the server and you can talk to us and give us your own little hands. How's that sound, Sport? That sound good to you? Be happy to have
That'd be
you.
great.
Someone about this.
Let's carry. Let's carry on.
Christ.
All right, let's keep going.
Blowing the dad and children to Kingdom Come, Moxie never has to sacrifice his principles. He ultimately proves that he is someone who can have restraint. He knows when to pull the trigger because he kills the mother of the family just as, she was about to murder Millie and Blitz. But he also is capable of showing mercy. Weirdly, I'm thinking of that line that fucking Claire Stanfield from Bacano says, where it's like, mercy is a liberty only the strong can afford, and I am strong. And in that sense, Moxie also proves that he was strong by showing that he can do both. Like, he has the power to stick to his principles, whereas Blitz, who often acts as an antagonist for Moxie, as we discussed.
But he doesn't. He kills the fucking child in the pilot.
Well,
he doesn't.
He shoots the kid by accident, but let's be fair here. He was totally gung ho in shooting the woman that he stepped. He
The mom of the
her.
kid. So it's
Yeah.
still that.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like.
I just want to do some digging real quick. So, episode 3 establishes that they get into shit if they get found out. So let's say, hypothetically speaking, that the word gets out, and now Moxie has to deal with the moral complications of letting this family live, or his wife and boss and himself are going to be like fucked in hell, because they've been revealed. Would it not make for a much more compelling story where he has to juggle his morals or between his morals and his pragmatism to either save himself or let this family go?
Well, see, that's been my point for a while, is that wouldn't it be easier to write compelling stories if you would have introduced these rules that these supposed worlds obey by in the very fucking beginning rather than later on? You would have had more of a compelling conflict than just, I feel like a good guy today.
Well, it's like, the weird thing is, Jace, is that like all these writing decisions seem to be made in hindsight. It's like you got this whole fucking murder family plot going on, and then it's like you have Moxie being like having to deal with his moral dilemma, and then it's all Deus Ex Machina by the police, and then you've got the fucking competition between Blitz and Verosica where they're trying to basically prove who's top dog, And I mean, there's a clear indication that this contest doesn't matter because no one's keeping fucking score. And then what do we do to make this redundant? We put in a giant fish out of nowhere. We just make some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles bullshit.
Sorry, I'm gonna interrupt you real quick. Leo, Danny says he's gonna wipe the floor with your mane, little kitty. So
anytime he feels like he's a big enough boy, he can hop in the server.
Yeah.
I put the server link out there.
So what the fuck is this chat, dude? Like, so we got like this guy. Stop.
That's great. Let's carry on.
To prove this episode, Blitz just isn't a creature of principle. He's always pushing for like pragmatism and
Yes, he's a cunt.
and honestly outright like pessimism and nihilism, which, you know, it could be argued makes sense given how his life has played out. But
Yeah,
How?
You say that, but
How?
you don't know how.
Yeah, how did his life play out? Please give me this intricate backstory that you're clearly aware of that I don't know,
Well,
despite the fact that you and I watched the same fucking episodes.
Well, let's be clear here, Jace. Like, they've literally been bullshitting like for half of this video. So like,
Yes, yes. It's fucking ridiculous. Oh my god, professional. If this is the standard of professional writing today, no wonder today's media sucks.
Moxie doesn't have to be that way. He still has agency even under his hell of a boss.
I wanted to kind of tie this all together because there's a moment in the pilot that I think is really relevant to all of this, and it's the moment at the very end after they kill the kid, which sometimes, never mind. They...
What do you mean sometimes never mind?
What?
It's just a great joke, guys.
Dude, that is literally the writing team of Helluva Boss. It's just like, Max, there's a contradiction. Never mind, bro. It's literally the writing team of Helluva Boss. No wonder they fucking like this shit.
Kind of, and Blitz refers to everybody as like a, more than a business. They're a family.
Yeah, but the thing is that like most of the members of the team have no interest in being a family. In fact, Moxie goes out of his way to say that's your fan fiction. Here in the real world, this is a business. We're the employees. Shut the fuck up.
Right, so carry on.
Oh no, I was continuing
Murder
the
Family
video.
is the first
okay.
antagonist, and then every subsequent villain, the ones that don't test Moxie, usually test Blitz's notion of whether or not they can actually be a family, whether they can be brought together, what that even means, and the actual care and love that needs to be present in those relationships. And then
what the fuck are you on about? It's just you just literally presented me with a jumble salad. Yeah, that's all you did.
It's literally like Stalin, Jace, you guys remember when Blitz went on and on and on for the past 4 episodes about them being a family?
No,
not
at all. Except for Luna, I guess, but that's it.
Well, it's adopted, whatever the fuck. It's it's still meaningless.
You.
Because I adopted you.
Because I can.
Because of you.
Then, in episode 4, that's kind of turned on its head, because the cherubs are of one mind, and in opposing them, so is Imp. And for the first time, we see Imp actually, perfectly in sync, taking out an equal and opposite enemy. And you get a glimpse of what they can be when they're, at their best working together.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I think that thus far, this show is really presented...
Yeah, but that falls flat on its ass on the simple fact that the cherubs are the ones that got the old man killed, not them.
So they failed their mission? Wait, hold on a second.
Yeah.
Wow.
That makes no sense.
Wide array of villains that challenge the sort of theme of the show, which is, can this group of dysfunctional people become a found family? And I think that it's nice to look forward into the future when we can, see these characters who are flawed, and we can be well, they've taken down some nasty villains, and that's brought them closer together.
Exactly, and full disclosure.
Ooh, Literally,
Oh my
it's
God.
like not only is it like that they brought the M team closer together, but now they literally have the people that they kill in the same world as them.
I'm just gonna keep saying it, dude. The cherubs are not villains. Quit calling them
No.
villains. Like it just pisses me off. Like just stop doing it.
Professional writers, Stalin. Shut up. You don't know what you're talking about.
Oh my God.
Closure. I don't think episode 4 quite lived up to episode 2 and 3. Those are still...
Yeah, as if there's way too much to live up to there, bro.
It's like you guys took a whiff and finally noticed that you're stepping in shit.
That's literally what it is.
Very much. Like, those are the real heavy hitters for me, but I think it's worth appreciating that this show...
Wait. Didn't you guys literally just say that episode 1 was like the best starting
The perfect
episode
encapsulation, yeah. Of what these characters are striving for,
where you guys want to see them by the end of it.
Yeah, and I'm like, hold on, so you already got that, and you're saying that it's not perfect or great or doesn't even live up to the episodes where they're arguing with one another. Do you even know what you yourself want? Like, that's my question at this point.
It's like it's not on the same tier of writing in an episode where they can't even fucking establish that they're fighting for a parking spot.
Sorry, I want to interrupt. My friend just messaged me. It's fucking found it funny. I think this guy is projecting his issues onto the characters. This is a therapy session now. He's getting it all out. Quote unquote. He wants to have a family. Just like I did.
He says he can't get in.
Yeah, just kill yourself. You'll go to hell and you'll be part of it, I promise. Oh, wait, hold on. I better fucking watch myself. Danny's gonna kick my ass for making those types of jokes.
Oh, man.
Like, it never plays it safe. Like, they always try something, and even though, again, I still prefer some of the per episodes over episode 4, it doesn't in any way diminish how incredibly excited I am for episode 5, and to see, you know, what wonderful characters and what great adventures with the Imp team we get to experience.
Wow.
Holy shit.
Wow. Wait, this guy is unironically called Danny Phantom? What? I feel like somebody's been fucking with us this entire time.
Oh, kind of. I mean, you can tell.
Yeah.
Well, by the channel, so.
Yeah, by all means, they can hop in and fuck around.
I can guarantee you he won't. He's too much of a pussy.
Yeah, it seems like it. Anyways.
You can just ban him from the chat. He's not coming in.
Yeah, I mean, you just want to post another link and just tell him, like, come in.
Well, so here's what I'm gonna. Lio said, like, I'm gonna ban you from the chat if you just keep doing this.
Here, I'll tell you what. Here's what we're gonna do, Danny. I'm gonna post the link one more time. I'm gonna post it. Actually, I'm gonna post it a couple times. Here's one time directly. Here's one time with it split up so it doesn't register as a link, and you have to cut and paste it. And here's a couple more times just so you don't have any excuses. Have 30 seconds. Hearing this.
Like how you just Jesus Christ, I just keep seeing the link being
Jesus.
So now that I'm sure the chat is caught up, I'm going to go ahead and start counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21.
How many seconds did you give him?
23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, and failed. Now you can't be seen.
Pussy!
Pussy! Pussy!
Well, okay, well let's give our wrapping up thoughts on the professional writer's opinion about Helluva Boss.
This video isn't
one at a time. Jesus.
I hate. It's your show, Hate.
This video was an accurate representation of the mentality of the people that simp for this shit.
Okay.
I had a hell of a time when I saw on Twitter that manga was
Fuck
like
you.
episode 4 was shit, and I was like, oh, so now you notice that it's terrible.
Stalin?
Fuck this show. just fuck this show, man. Like, it's these two. I'm afraid that like. I'm afraid for the industry. Like, this is what is considered to be professional writing. And not a lot of people are like not a massive amount of people are like objecting to this. There's a problem. Like we have a serious problem on our hands, don't we? I think so, Jace.
Gamers rise up, you know.
Yeah, gamers rise up. Let's pump GameStop stock some more, right?
Leo.
It's really sad because I think they're trying to hype themselves up into thinking the show is going to be better than it is, or that it currently is better than it is, and it's kind of sad because I understand wanting to support independent creators, but you support them when they put out good work. You don't support them when they put out a trash fire. You don't back them in any way, shape, or form when they put out garbage. You're supposed to be a writer. You're supposed to be a critiquer. Do your job.
Well, I mean, okay. I'm not gonna argue with you on anything. Here's mine. This show is shit. It was shit from the start. And the reason it was shit is because there are very blatant writing flaws that are just never corrected, which is insulting because among having several writers, they don't have one writer, they have several writers working on this. They also have script, what do they call them? Well, let's call them script janitors.
Supervisors?
Something like that. They have people who look at this and like they're supposed to clean up the plot and make sure that there's no fucking plot holes and there's no contradictions or anything like that. You can't, and I'm sure they're doing their job amazingly. It's just the problem is you can't fix something that's just, you can't fix a toilet with a hole. You know, you piss in that toilet, it will continue to leak through the hole, like no matter how much you try. So, yeah. So the point is, Helluva Boss and Hazbin Hotel is just a giant, massive fucking toilet that Bibsy takes a shit into, and people like this just dine out of. They're like, delicious. And then when episode 4 comes out, they're like, this smells a bit weird, but I'm going to continue eating. You know, so enjoy your shit. Enjoy your shit, guys, is what I'm going to say.
I love how 2 times in a row this universe that Vizzy has made has been going out of its way to say how bad capitalism is, and then you get the schlock that is pretty much funded by a GoFundMe and merchandise that reflects a show that is of below par quality. It's
right.
Like I've never seen anything more of a blatant ripoff in my life than this.
Or hypocritical.
I mean, hey, don't get me wrong. Like, I agree with Boxy's capitalist statement. Agree with him on that. But like, could you actually be creative about your commentary? Please, like, come on. But I guess I'm asking too much, aren't I?
Yep. And with that, I guess we conclude this stream. Next stream will happen never again.
Clearly, we will not have another stream. And you know what I just now noticed about this stream?
What?
I forgot to have the Discord OBS overlay.
Who cares?
Yeah, who cares?
So,
whatever.
Yeah, you just have my game show guy over there, you know, just like standing around.
Callie's right. There is porn that's better written than this.
All right.
Yeah, have you seen the SpongeBob one?
No, and I don't want to see I don't want to hear about the SpongeBob one. Shut the fuck up.
But more importantly, Kara just came back in the server, so why don't we hop in and say hi to him?
Right. Okay, I don't even know who that is. But
all right,
okay.
Well, that's the end of the stream, guys. Thanks for coming on. That was a lot of fun, I guess.
Yeah, make sure not to go kill yourself. You know,
yeah.
Don't take me seriously.
Yeah, episode 4 review coming out in a couple of days or whatever the fuck. I don't know.
Right.